Boy did it. Your boy did it. We're going to talk about the Europa League. We have our Europa League final. Roma have made the final of the Sevilla Invitational. They've made the final of the Sevilla Invitational. Shout out to Sevilla who are continuing to gentrify this competition. This will be more than Thanos. I don't know how we do, but this will be more than Thanos. We're going to talk about the Europa League, Mourinho's achievements, and just what Sevilla have done. Then everybody is to discuss it. We're still talking about the fallout of what happened on Wednesday nights. And everyone is saying, is this the year of the treble? And if he does win the treble, where does this place Pep? And where does this face Fergie? Because they're saying that Pep gave Fergie epilepsy in 2011. Now could he resign him into the dinosaur books? It is what it is. This is what the streets are saying. So guys, welcome. Thank you for joining us here on this beautiful Thursday night for this little discussion. Your host, half up, double H, the kid, then that guy that's always young. Your boy, Ricardo, aka Peru, aka a bit Japanese, aka a little bit crazy, aka he does some stuff inside. No, that's fine. Thank you. That's fine. Sorry, that's my thing. And shout out to my main man, Vator, aka That's a Dude, aka Always Young, aka Trying to Live, aka Repping the City, aka he's still taking those classes, man. So, shout out to all of you guys out there. So, guys, remember, guys, like this vid, subscribe if you're new. This might be a podcast. It depends how I'm feeling. And remember to send in those Dubinskis. Your super chats and your dobs is what keeps the lights on, and it's what ensures that I pay my water bill, which I have to spread over 12 months because I'm not paying that amount in 1 month. You freaking complete losers. So yes, I'm going to spread that over 9 months and so forth. Yes, the first payment is 1st of the month, June 1st. Let's do it. Water bill. Let's take it down, man. So now, guys, let's talk Europa, man. Or just European info first. So let's talk Europa. So let me hit it. So first of all, let's even build up. Shout out to, let me just get this right, because let's be real, because it was not just only the Europa League, it's also the Europa Conference League. So we have ourselves, I believe, a final, which is Fiorentina against West Ham. So Fiorentina against West Ham. So for West Ham, this is their first final in 47 years. So we've got to give a shout out to Moyes. And well done to those dudes, because Moyes was a guy who they thought was trash and so forth after we did United. So together with West Ham, that's amazing. So shout out to West Ham, shout out to Fiorentina. That should be an interesting final. But guys, the pièce de resistance. Mourinho. You see, it's so poignant that Mourinho did this off the heels of what Pep has done and the discussions about Pep. Because we're going to have a real discussion about management and how do we define a great manager? How do we define a GOAT manager? That's what we're going to be talking about very specifically, you know. And I think that your boy Mourinho is in that conversation. So basically, this is an amazing achievement. Last year, like Roma are scraps. These guys are not good. Roma are not great. And remember, this is a Roma side with a Wijnaldum that broke his legs and a Paulo Dybala who's been injured for most of the season. And for him to make a way against a Feyenoord, a Bayer Leverkusen, and so forth, you've got to give this guy kudos, because when you look at that team, it is management, and I just think it's an amazing achievement. But I don't know how they beat Sevilla, because I really do feel that Sevilla should launch a petition to rename this the Sevilla Invitational. And I would support that right now. I would put that on Change.org. I want a Change.org petition for this to be turned into the Sevilla Invitational. Because, keep it a stack, I have no idea how Roma beats Sevilla. Because, first of all, I don't even know how Sevilla were able to go through a Juve. Now, we can talk about Allegri and how Juve flopped, and how they flopped specifically in that first leg. But I just think that it's a huge task. But whatever the case may be, guys, we've got to give Mourinho his credit. Because when I posted this on Twitter, all the haters came through. Why are you promoting terrorism football? This man is anti-football. This guy plays dinosaur football. Sorry, we're not in 2010. He doesn't have a freaking Milito or a Snyder or an Edzo. This isn't 05 where he has like a freaking Drogba and an Essien. He can only do the best he can with what he has. If he had, bro, look at what he was doing with Real Madrid when they got 100 points, when he had a Cristiano, a Modric, a Ramos, and all those, and a freaking Xabi Alonso. So you can only do what you can with what you have. And all I'm saying, guys, is this: it's already amazing what he's achieved. Don't let Mourinho win this. Don't let Mourinho win a Europa against freaking Sevilla, because we did this, I think, when we're doing the Europa previews. Since it's been like the Europa League, Sevilla have never lost a final. So Sevilla, I think, they've been in 5 finals. I think they've won all 5. So these guys are like a Real Madrid. And let me put this out there. Whatever happens in the Champions League, if Sevilla win the Europa League, I think we can still pound for pound, La Liga is the best league. Pound for pound, La Liga is the best league. Because when you just look at the amount of Spanish teams that either win the Champions League or the Europa League, it's ridiculous. Vito, what say you, first of Mourinho's achievements and whether Sevilla are rigging the competition?
I've been listening to the show, man, and I know there's a heavy lean towards Mourinho and what he's done, and I take nothing away for what he's meant to your club after returning as well. But are we gassing it too much? Are we gassing what he's doing in Europa too much to label it as more greatness? Like, no disrespect, but it's Europa. Should we just not give him the appreciation? He's doing his thing, but to add a little more sprinkles to greatness, I think we're going too far with that. I do rate what he's doing, because again, he's working with the ingredients that he has, and he's putting together a really good meal. He's doing his thing.
But Veto, it's the whole pie. If all he gave him was a Conference League, boom, it's the Champions League with FC Porto, it's the treble with Inter Milan, it is the Champions League that was robbed off of him with Real Madrid twice. It's now the Conference. It's with Europa League with Man United. The last major trophy United have won, Conference League with Roma, their first ever European trophy. Veto, it's the palette. It's the entire palette. It's the template. It's the resume.
I get that, but to go from the majors to the minors, I can't go there with you, HH. I can't say that it's the whole thing, because I'll rate you at the majors. I'll rate you when you're doing big things at the top competitions. But when it's kind of dropped down to Europa, when it's dropped down to the Europa Conference, I gotta say,
no.
I recognize.
But shouldn't you still at least acknowledge the different kind of management you need when you're going down a lower tier? Because do you know what the people say? Like, same thing with Moyes. Okay, you can win at the lower tier, can you win at the higher tier? And when he now goes to the higher tier, he can't win. But Mourinho has shown, give me superstars, I can succeed. Give me a mid-tier team, I can succeed. Give me a low-tier team, I can succeed. I can give a club their very first major trophy. I can actually establish a winning foundation of a club that never had one. See, Tottenham, that's a rare case, because not even Moses could make Tottenham a winning team. So,
yeah, but Mourinho's going from Mario Kart 150cc down to 100 and then 50 cc. Of course he's going to be good amongst those that
No,
are
no, 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 no,
surrounding
no,
him.
no, no. You can't. Do you know what? You can't use America. Do you know why that doesn't work? America, it's just me. So I'm the only person driving that cart. But with management, my management has to change because I am now coaching players with a lower level. So if I'm coaching players of a lower level with a lower skill level that isn't Eto, isn't Cristiano, isn't Ramos, isn't Modric, isn't Lucio, isn't Deco, I have to now try and be a bit more creative and imaginative
Are you
in
seeing
my coaching to
creative
succeed.
and imagination with what he's doing? Are you seeing him be tapping into some creative juices?
No. You're not seeing it because it's all in the training and the preparation. Because he's been able to prepare a team of bricks, of fruit sellers, to be able to find a way to win, which is what they've done.
I give him much credit for the success and bringing this level of winning to these clubs. You know, the fact that he's doing it at Roma, I recognize it. The fact of what he had to do previously, even with regards to United, you pulling it out.
Yes.
We haven't seen success like that since he's been there. And to be let go before actually bringing a trophy to Tottenham is
crazy.
A disgrace.
I still hold that against them.
But I'm not adding this. This adds to his greatness. I'm not going there with you, HH. I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
He's doing his thing. But
I will convince you eventually, though. I will convince you eventually.
And I'm not making this a point because I've seen this. Ooh, quote unquote, other managers can't do what Mourinho's doing.
We'll get there. No, we'll get there. All right, we'll get there. Right. Ricardo, talk to me about Mourinho's incredible achievements so far.
I actually have a different opinion from Vader. I'll be objective on this one.
Yes, thank you.
The only minor thing I could agree on Vader is that how much does this actually add, right? Now, are we judging him based on the full repertoire, or are we judging this based on who Mourinho was at his heights of his power? Because a lot of times when we look at players, we only judge them at the height of their powers, right? So it's kind of like, I hate to bring another sport reference, but Michael Jordan, we always say he's 6-6, 6-0 in the finals, blah, blah, blah. But we forget about the 8 years before he started winning. The guy was not a winner, right? So if we're taking his whole career as a whole, this doesn't add much. But Mourinho doing what he has done, he won the first edition of Conference League with Roma, could possibly win it again, or this time with Europa League with Roma, against a team that is 6-0 in Europa League finals. So he's not just facing any team; he's facing the very best that Europa League has to offer. Like we said, Sevilla is, when it comes to Europa League, Sevilla is the team.
Yeah.
Real Madrid is to the Champions League. Sevilla is that team.
Ricardo, would you say that this is Mourinho's wizard years, like Jordan's wizard years?
Yeah, to an extension, yet.
What? Well, no! Stop it! That's crazy. No, don't do that.
No, but HH, let's just say, I think if Mourinho loses the final, I wouldn't hold it against him, because to go back to 2 back-to-back European finals, albeit it's not the highest one, with a team that hasn't won anything of significance since 2008 is still somewhat of a great accomplishment. And a lot of the time, like for example, my brother, right? He comes from the older way of viewing football. It's not about what you can do when you have everything at your disposal, which makes it interesting because the other guy he's compared to is Pep Guardiola. My brothers always tell me, like, what you see in a manager is what he can do when it comes to minimal resources, right? Now, this is where I think sometimes you, HH, even kind of get lost in the whole Mourinho thing, and because you don't give credit to Diego Simeone, who has known to have had a lot of success with very minimal resources. And if we're going to be honest, he didn't just win 1 La Liga title. He won 2 La Liga titles with Barcelona and Real Madrid in some of the fiercest competition he's had. So I would argue that Diego Simeone's accomplishments is actually incredibly underrated when you compare it to a lot of great managers. But let's stay on topic here. We're talking about Mourinho. At the end of the day, it's all about if he gets it done. I think it's kind of like a low risk, high reward, because if he loses, cool, he lost to Sevilla, whatever, it is what it is, right? If he wins, then hey, Sevilla finally lost. Mourinho back-to-back European titles. I think it's a testament of the manager he's always been. I think Mourinho, at the end of the day, has always been a results manager rather than a stylistically appeasing one, and he's all about getting it done, and he is that guy. So
Good.
Mourinho, I think this doesn't add a whole lot, but I think it adds something. And I think Mourinho, I mean, yeah, it kind of right. It kind of is his Jordan wizard, because even in Jordan's wizard, wasn't he averaging like 20 points? Like
Oh,
that was still something for a guy
please,
his age.
don't do that, bro, now.
What Mourinho's saying right now, he's like, I got one more in me. I got one more.
Oh no. Look, see, look. I like, okay, look, just to be objective, like, I mean, I get your point is that to be the very elite, it is to say what's up to being the very elite. That's what really makes you that dude, is that, okay, what can I do against the very best? But I think everything is context though, because that's why I use the example. If all a manager has won is the Europa League and that's it, I can't compare him to a Pep, Mourinho, Fergie, Ancelotti, and so forth, because my thing is that I don't know what he can do at the very highest level. But we've seen what Mourinho has done at the very highest level. And here's the thing, that this is the testament. And I think that maybe this is what you're missing, Victor. Are we sure that if Carlo Ancelotti had a Roma, he'd win the Europa League? Are we sure if a Lippi or a Heinkes had like a Schalke or a Mainz, they'd win the Europa League? So my things are all because my thing though is that it isn't easier. The mistake you're making is that's why I don't agree with your Maracas analogy. Going from the Champions League to Europa League, it isn't easier. It's different. Because it requires a different management style from you. Because when you have amazing players who can do amazing things and are superstars, it requires a particular skill, because you have to now manage egos, manage personalities, and so forth. When you have guys who are not as good and so forth, you now have to be a bit more creative of your coaching, because then there are things that they simply can't do. So you have to have a different kind of a style. Coach them a bit more to say, what's up?
What do you mean? There's things that they can't do. What's this incredible drop off in terms of skill set? Can't kick a ball. Can't. Explain to me what they.
Wait, sir. Are you okay? Wait, sir. Okay, wait, sir. Let's be real. Are you telling me that man for man, this Roma team is as good as man for man the 2012 Real Madrid team? Cristiano, Modric, Ozil.
I would never go that. No, I would never go that far.
So there is clearly a drop off of skill sets that 2012 Real Madrid team had man for man, as opposed to this Roman team, or this Roman team as opposed to the 2010 Inter Milan team. Because,
so if I hear this correctly, Mourinho instructing players on where they need to be, right?
Yeah.
How they need to maybe move the ball in possession, or how they need to be all in line when they're defending. There's going to be he's working with so bad ingredients or so bad players.
You have no. More coaching and management is required from you, and more is required from you, especially in training and preparation, as opposed to I've got a Cristiano and I've got an Ozil. If Ozil gets the ball, Ozil is going to find that man and Chris is going to say, what's up? As opposed to having a Pellegrini and a Tammy Abraham. Because what Pellegrini can do, Ozil can't do.
Hold on. I have to point out your contradiction here, though. Because you're saying that but what I've noticed is that you're saying it almost works against you, because even when Mourinho had Real Madrid, we can't overlook the fact that he didn't win with that Real Madrid. And a lot of people do say the 2012 Real Madrid is the greatest team to never win the Champions League. And who was the manager? It was Mourinho. Yes, you could say penalty, this and that, but maybe the game should have never gone to penalties to begin with, because if they were that good, they should have penalties.
No. That's true. But then I then respond with an Inter Milan. So yes, he didn't win the Champions League with Real Madrid, but I believe their points record or their goals record still stands in La Liga. So he still sets a specific milestone with that Real Madrid team in La Liga, and at that level, Champions League level, he won a treble with Inter Milan. Yeah, so you can't just use Real Madrid. Let's also use Inter Milan as well.
Okay, sure, but what's a better team, that Inter Milan side or that Real Madrid side? And if you're gonna tell me that Inter Milan side is better just because they won the trophy, that's not a genuine.
No. For me, I can say because the Inter Milan, they were a different kind of a side. I can't say which is better because that side was a side that had a very specific system and was very effective in a very specific way. And this Real Madrid.
But you're telling me that the Real Madrid side had the goals record, which is a fact. They
Yes.
had all these records, but they couldn't win. So it ultimately doesn't matter in this round that they have the record. If scoring less goals is going to result me into winning trophies, then what's great is it scoring all these goals if it doesn't result in the ultimate title?
No. But my thing though is that
I think part of the problem with differentiating is that, at least an iPhone, when it's probably when it comes to the Pep Fergie thing, is with. I think anyway, there's a difference between a coach and a manager. Coaching and management, they kind of overlap. They do. So, but you can have someone who is not necessarily the best manager, but is a fantastic coach of how they're able to coach players to get to a certain level. Because management isn't just, for me, coaching is about, you've got a player, they've got a certain set of abilities. How can I bring that player with their abilities to a certain level, whatever that may be?
Yeah.
Management involves tactic, it involves the game. When you make substitutions, style play, etc., etc., etc. So, I think that.
So I say Mourinho is in the coaching or in the management echelon then.
The thing about Mourinho, which compared to say Fergie, which is an enigma, is that I would say with your Inter Milan situation, that it probably was more of the coaching element, so to speak. So, but with other teams, maybe for example, when he won his Europa League at Manchester United, even what he's potentially doing at Roma right now, I'd probably say it's more of a management situation and necessarily that his coaching is the best. So I think Mourinho does a mixture of both. It kind of depends. But Milan, I think it was coaching.
So basically, what? Okay, so we now have a final: Sevilla against Roma. Then, how would you put what he's done in context of taking Roma to a final, and does this move the needle if he beats Sevilla in the Europa League final?
I mean, because we've already established that Sevilla have not lost a final they've been in.
Yeah.
So if I don't think anyone will disagree if Roma beat Sevilla in this final, considering they are essentially missed the Europa League.
Yeah.
Mourinho beats them with this, quite frankly, by my Soma squad. Obviously, you've got to give him his props. I don't think there should be any debate about that because Sevilla where they are. So, and of course, you can see in the progress. They were obviously Conference League, won it, and then obviously if he then builds on that, then I do like that like you've stuck with a team and like you've gradually, slowly but sure, this team has progressed and developed year on season. So this is what I'm saying with the whole coaching management kind of thing is that like that is evidence, at least for me, of a good coach, because you're seeing progression year on year and you're getting better and better and better, as opposed to necessarily just I was able to get the particular players that I wanted and I've now delivered this particular trophy. Progress is also important as well, so yeah, that's my.
Let me hit some quick duplications. So from Osama, I taught Mourinho well, #terrorism. Well, I call it #kid. Because I say that's #kid, so thank you. Napoli fan, trash side plus 8 injuries plus Tammy and Belotti as striker. You see, Vater. Here's the thing.
Actually,
Vater, have you seen I call him the Italian ego. Have you seen Belotti try to play football?
Belotti is
basically it's between Belotti and Coquin Gallagher as some of the worst players I've seen on the left. So I know that how you can even function if that guy is who you coach and is your teammate. It is a level of data that only the Lord will freaking know. And I must forget, I think of this. Wijnaldum broke his leg. So even him coming back, he's nowhere near what he was at Liverpool. And Dybala has been injured. So he's able to pretty much get it, pretty much without Dybala and Wijnaldum, 2 of their best players. I mean, Vater, come on, man. Come on, give the man his credit. From Matt Gee, congrats to the City panelists for the 10th anniversary on Sporting City. More is greater than Lep, did more with less. Heritage.
I love that kind of, it starts as a compliment.
Yeah. I can see that's slight shit. Your boy Doug. AP reports a hostage situation in Leverkusen has ended. One hostage apparently died of boredom. #thoughts. See, here's the thing. You're 1-0 up and you have Belotti in your squad. What the hell are you supposed to do? go out on an attack. The name of the game is winning, not how you win. It's about winning. So what are you supposed to do with Belotti and Tammy Abraham as your two strikers, and a dude called Pep Pellegrini as your creative guy? Give me a break. Come on, man. He did what he had to do, and he's in the final. Zoteng TV, man. I give the dub. Jose taking Roma to the Europa and beating the Godfather Sevilla in the final is a better achievement than Pep winning with a CL with all money and the backing of an entire state. Do you have any response to that, Savatra?
I'm not addressing this.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you for the super chat.
Casey, that terrorist couldn't survive at the highest level. Well, Casey, you bum. That's funny because last I checked, he won a UCL with FC Porto. Last I checked, he won a treble with Inter Milan. Last I checked, he's the reason why Cristiano was able to score the goals he did by turning him into a goal scorer. So, I'm sorry, joke's on you, man.
Casey's right. He hasn't survived because he's not at the highest level.
Well, it's their loss. Okay,
Both things can be true. Both things can be true.
That's true.
Matt Gee again. Peptide Stereodola has been involved in 2 football scams with Barcelona and now City. A checkbook manager who spends 200 million on fullbacks in his first year. You know what? We're going to come back to this when we get to the whole thing. So before we go, again, we'll probably do this again, but I will go around. So
where's Yasir?
Oh no, he's on his way because he said that he's running late because he had an appointment, but he's on his way. He's on his way. So, predictions. And we'll even do predictions. So, first of all, West Ham Fiorentina. If West Ham do to be crazy, but I feel Fiorentina will edge it 2-1. Sevilla against Roma. I'm seeing extra time. Sevilla 1-0. Sevilla to win 1-0. Ricardo, what are you seeing for both them? Fiorentina, West Ham, and Sevilla against them?
Well, West Ham.
I see what you're doing.
I think West Ham's gonna win.
Against Fiorentina?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rice.
I think Moise, he finally gets it right.
Ricardo, don't ever just don't.
No, I like to feel British sometimes, you know.
Yeah, but that was really bad. That was really bad.
And then what was it? I'm surprised you said Sevilla because Mourinho has never lost a European final.
Didn't they say that's like Real Madrid? See, all this about heritage. He's never did it.
Vader. He has no juice. His juice is done. Jinxing doesn't work anymore. Oh wow, he's done.
I don't. No. Okay, Ricardo. Okay, ha. I don't jinx anymore and so forth. Now I'm just I'm now a humble analyst right now. So I'm a humble analyst. No. My last jinx was against Cristiano, which works. Yeah. I used everything on Cristiano, so I don't jinx anymore.
Jinx was keeping Chelsea up. That was the jinx.
Stop it. We're never in a relegation battle.
But anyways,
that's his power.
I'm backing Jose Mourinho. I'm backing Jose Mourinho to stay undefeated.
It's Jose. It's Portuguese. It's Jose. Wait, you should know. Aren't you Spanish speaking? Yeah, if it's Portuguese, it's Jose. If it's Spanish, it's Jose. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't speak Portuguese. I don't care. And they speak the Portuguese. I'm familiar with the Brazilian Portuguese.
Okay.
But anyways, this guy, I have seen him shithouse way to titles so many times. I cannot bet against them. Like, I think Sevilla, like, they're due a loss. Come on, they're not going 7-0. Are they going?
That's
7-0?
crazy. Imagine 7. Imagine if the 7 finals, 7 dubs. That's crazy. No. See, if Sevilla win, change the name of the trophy.
And I think their titles, all their titles have come in the last 15 years or something like that, or 20 years, some shit like that. But anyways, I think I don't know. I just feel like maybe this time Mourinho's gonna get it done. It's not gonna be pretty, but it's gonna happen. I'll say it's probably will be. It'll be a 1-1 and they win on penalties.
Sorry, I've just seen Elijah's super chat.
Wow. What's it called? Vader, what are you saying, man?
Now, I think a London team does win it. I think West Ham will win that. I think he's gonna. It's for me. A lot of things. Apologies if you're hearing things in the background.
Yeah. So someone's singing that. So I was supposed to is there like that Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey? Or...
Oh, respect. That's my daughter.
That's it. That's a voice. That's it. That's trust me. Your daughter. So basically, if this whole thing doesn't work out, man, bro, put her in someone's got talent, man. So
Canada's Got Talent. Trust me. When I look at this, there's storylines. You know, AJ's there's storylines. How about a former Manchester United manager that was told he can't hack it, can't do it, pretty much banished, gets this trophy? I see it. I see that playing out. There's going to be a lot of storylines at the end of the season. I see him doing his thing. And same thing, another former Manchester United manager told to say he can't cut it anymore.
The narratives. Oh, wow. And also, if you don't say, man, first European trophy in 47 years.
For West Ham, yeah.
Bro, Ferguson has aged like spoiled milk, man. I'm just telling you.
Okay, Ricardo, Ricardo, save your disrespect for a few minutes. Just save it, okay? So far, because at least we have ideas here just to sort of cover that disrespect. So
if West Ham do win, does that mean that they have more trophies in the last like 10 years or 20 than Tottenham?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right, yeah,
I saw someone else do that. Hence why, like, if there's, I actually really want West Ham to win, because then sort of looking for in the life. So Vito, what scores are you saying for the games?
Oh, I hate doing scores before I know the starting 11, but it's gonna be cagey, man. I can actually see both games being like a West Ham could be like a 1-0, 2-1 maybe, and I think it might go to pens. I think.
With Roma and Sevilla.
Yeah, I think it'll go to pens because you know Jose. He's gonna be risk adverse. He's gonna be like, I'm not gonna cause anything to cause.
Okay, it's about to get it done. I don't get it done. All right. So what are you saying for both games, RDS?
Yeah, the Moyes. It's going to be interesting. But shout out to Moyes, by the way, though, because he's this season West Ham haven't been that great this season. So
yeah.
But getting West Ham to like first European final for 7 years is a very big achievement. So it's a difficult one because West Ham's advantage has been they're being at home. When they've been away, they have not really performed. Even the game today I was watching, because was just AZ were just garbage.
Yeah.
Big up AZ, by the way. They just started fighting the West Ham fans.
Oh yeah. No, because I think they said like the stewards were messing with their families and stuff.
Yeah, so
and
they
then
had
they
to,
said
the players went over, then the police sort of came. So yeah, it was quite wild actually. But anyway, that's why I'm kind of like, it's because the final is in. Where's the final in for the Conference League? It's
Prague.
Is it Prague? Yeah. So I don't know. I do think West Ham have more talent than Fiorentina, but I just don't know, given the lack of home advantage, whether they'll be able to execute that talent and whether David Moyes will be scared and be like, listen, I just want to be conservative and then see what happens. Whereas I actually think that West Ham should go on the front foot against Fiorentina.
Yeah.
And the quarter in front, they might. So if he does that, I think they'll win. But I think David Moyes, having not been in this position, will be a lot more cautious. And I think that might be West Ham's downfall. So that's why I think I'll give Fiorentina the dub, actually. I think they'll be close. It'll be like 1-0, something like that.
And then what about Roma and Sevilla?
Sevilla never lost the final. Uncle Mo never lost the final. It is literally like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah. It was like 1-0 has to go.
Exactly.
1-0 has to go.
Exactly. And, man, I don't know.
It would be really stupid if Sevilla goes out. I think that's just really unfair.
I'll say is that, like, is Roma the type of... I mean, maybe Ricardo might know, because obviously he's looking at Sevilla, but is the way that Roma play... is that the type of team that is potentially Sevilla's kryptonite? Because all the teams that Sevilla played have been a bit more open, no low blocks, nothing like that. Have quite happy to sort of play football in Juve and Manchester United. But Roma, we know, aren't going to do that. So could this, as you say, HH, it's like about matchups.
Yeah.
So are Roma the type of team that they're going to be defensive, going to be frustrated? Will that be something that will frustrate Sevilla? And then, it takes...
No. I mean, no, which is why it is so perfect and interesting, because I think that, like, as Mourinho said, you don't play finals, you win finals. So Mourinho's going to make a tactic to frustrate Sevilla and just try to... His tactic is for a 1-0. Not just for a 1-0. And for Sevilla... because this Sevilla team is nowhere near as good as those teams that Unai Emery had. Like the teams that Unai Emery had were amazing. So my thing is, can this Sevilla team break down Roma? But at the same time, are Roma's defenders as good and are unable to stop? Because I don't think Roma have, even if the Sevilla team is not as good, I don't think Roma have faced a team as good offensively as Sevilla in this Europa League. So yes, you've kept Leverkusen quiet, you've kept Feyenoord quiet. Feyenoord's attack and Leverkusen's attack isn't as good as. And I was watching the Leverkusen game. They had their chances, but they just didn't have enough quality. And your boy, I think it's Diaby, hits like the crossbar. So if the chances fall to Lamela and Nesri, Suso, I think I have more faith in them putting them away than the guys that Feyenoord are thinking play. So it's a tricky one, but it's going to be tough, man, because those Roma guys ain't good, bro. So I don't know what Mourinho's going to come up. Those Roma players, they're not good, bro. So I don't even know how they even made it this far. Leverkusen should have won that game with the amount of chances that they had.
Who did they knock out? Was it before Leverkusen? Who did they knock out?
I think it was Feyenoord.
Feyenoord, and Feyenoord actually won the
they won the Eredivisie. So
Dutch league, So I just the only reason I'll give it to Uncle Mo slightly, I will give it to Uncle Mo slightly, is just that.
Wait, why do you call him Uncle Mo?
That's his name. That's his name. And Victor, you should refer to him as uncle as well.
I call Moyes Uncle Moyes as well. You get to a certain age and you become an uncle.
Or actually, some people call him Uncle Moyes. So
Uncle Moyes, yeah.
I mean, if you're Nigeria, you know Moyes. So yeah, great meal, by the way. So yeah.
He's I would give it to Uncle Moyes just because you don't. Sevilla at some point have to lose the final, and you just don't. You just can't bet against Uncle Mo in the final because he will find a way to frustrate any team he plays against. And I just think he'll be able to do it. So yeah, I give. Okay.
1-0. Let's now move over to the PS that is stones, man. Okay, where are we now? So Pepini. So obviously, I've seen some of your dubs, guys, but I want Vero to kick things off, and then I'll get over to those because obviously, Vero, you're not here on the show. So, the Treble is in sight. Now, nobody even puts any faith in Francis. But here's the whole thing. Did you know what I don't want? I don't want Chelsea to do a guard of honor. Because if Arsenal lose to Nottingham Forest, then Chelsea will have to do a freaking guard of honor. And don't put it past Arsenal to go and lose to Nottingham Forest. So,
why don't you want to do a guard of honor?
Because I don't want to do a guard of honor. Wait, hold up. Are we? Wait, hold on, Victor. Are we in North Korea? Last I checked, I have free will. And in my free will, I don't want to give you a freaking guard of honor.
Okay, no. I just wanted to know the reason why you didn't want to show that level of respect.
No, I don't. I don't believe in that, man. I don't believe in that.
To be fair, United were about to do a guard of honor when City were about to win the league, and then Pogba showed up, and it didn't happen.
But Victor, do you believe that the treble is going to happen? Because this is where I'm at with it. Is I feel that if the treble doesn't happen, it's Man United that stops up step. I'm not putting faith in a 72-year-old Dzeko or a Luke Skywalker in that UCL final. I think Inter are going to get strip searched in the UCL final. But I think that if the team is going to... Was it?
You have more faith in United derailing this trouble than you do
Inter Milan. Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, United have beaten City before. It's a Manchester derby. And I think that Fergie will be in the dugout come the FA Cup final. So what's it? So just after that thing, I mean, how much faith do you have in the treble after seeing the beatdown on Real Madrid?
Man, I didn't have much sleep last night.
Oh wow.
I didn't have much sleep last night because it was talking about the game. It was watching the game for a second time.
I see. You know how Twitter has they notify you whenever someone is in a space. The amount of times I see as video games is listening, I was like, bro, this guy is literally living in spaces right now.
I'm in it right now. Because there's been some conversations that have happening, and I had to make sure I address some people properly. I've been saying this, man. There's some, and credit to you. These incredible moments maybe happen when you were younger. or maybe happened before you were even born. These moments are incredible with regards to what we're pursuing. It's not every season a team can go after a trouble, and I happen to be alive doing it. I'm not reading about it. It's not a Wikipedia thing. I'm actually witnessing it. I got to cherish it. So last night was one of those type nights. If you look, you see the platinums are coming in. This is a stretch from last season. 2 minutes getting kicked out of the semifinals from Real Madrid.
You have my votes. You have my votes.
What are you doing?
I asked you how much do you believe in the treble, and you've talked about your past life, your future life, your ancestors, everything. Veto, is this treble happening? And you're like, well, life, the future, AI, chat GPT, all that.
That's a great resource. Use it if you haven't.
I'm scared. I'm worried because the machines are about to take over. So I'm worried. So yeah.
You have to be able to know how to use a machine. I encourage all of you, test it out, figure out.
Wait, AJ, you haven't used chat GPT yet?
No, because I'm not into this whole trendy cool stuff. That's not how I do. Okay.
It's not a
oh no!
thing.
So ChatGPT. No, I make trends. I don't follow trends. I make trends. I set trends.
You keep on arguing with the AI bot that follows you on Twitter. Like,
wait, artist. I muted him. I muted because okay. Now you've now derailed. Okay, let me rant. Let me rant. So, I put out a tweet. Give me a response. Why am I put out a tweet and I look at my notifications at LMAO-GPT? No, you freaking moron. You didn't have that response. A robot responded to me. So why am I giving credit to a robot's response over you? Use your human brain and intuition and respond to me. So my thing is that, oh, wow, that was clever. But it's a machine. It's not a freaking human being. So
just not to scare everybody, but many of these Twitter threads, many of these threads that you think you're reading because it's human generated, just calm down because I'm sure a lot of people have kind of gamed the system right now. But let's go back to this pursuit of this trouble. My confidence is high, HH. And normally we're speaking on Fridays. I come through, I'm in the classroom. The studying's been paying off, man. The studying's been paying off. I've had my head down into the books and I feel wiser. I feel like I've seen the right reactions, the right performances from my team to really believe it. And to be honest with you, we've been flirting with this treble for a while.
Yeah, because remember the domestic treble.
The domestic trouble, it's a real thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is. It's domestic.
It's not, but okay.
That's how you differentiate it. It's the domestic one.
Sure.
Now, also, had it not been for Tuchel, respect to him, he's no longer here. But had it not been for him and what he did with regards to us in that season, in the FA Cup, and then obviously what happened in Champions League, that would have been our pursuit of this trouble. We've been flirting with it for a while. So I think the team's playing at this level, healthy. I think we got it. Healthy. I think we got it. We need to win one of these 3 remaining games in the league. We need to win one of them. If, to your point, you don't want to give us the guard of honor, but if Arsenal drop points again, it's ours. And then what other matchup to remain sharp? What other matchup to make sure you don't want to lose this thing than to be lined up against this guy, right? What other matchup is there? So that FA Cup, maybe if it was somebody else, it might have been less important, less of a priority.
No, basically, it sets up beautifully. Like, that's FA Cup final because I really do believe that Fergie is going to give the team talk and Fergie is going to be in that dugout.
They need to give Fergie a rest, man. They keep wheeling him around everywhere. Like, nah, let the man rest and retire in peace. Like, he's been stressed. He was at the Etihad and he had to witness a 6-3. Like, let the man enjoy the game from his home. Don't wheel him out and have to give a team
agree with that. Okay, wait, let's just get to the basics. So where are we? From Ibo Abrit's Fair. All 3 UEFA finals have a Serie A team. Oh,
We should probably actually talk about
yeah.
Serie A.
Fiorentina, Roma, and Inter Milan.
Yeah.
No. Basically, do you know what would be hilarious if they do it? I mean, obviously, I doubt it will happen. If they actually do a clean sweep of finals, that would be hilarious. But
we'd have to have a conversation about it. We'd have to have a conversation about Serie A and where it ranks if they do that, because I don't think that's ever. Well, obviously the Conference League is.
Because it came in news and everything. Yeah. So. No. That's a dope, man. And Wink, never compare that fraud, Pep NIS to GOAT Mourinho. Wink, come on, I'm not going to be saying that. Also, Wink, again, I don't like. You keep on having a difference lady in your area and so forth. So I don't even want to question all this, but I'm going to keep moving. From LC, LL was still young when Mo was at his highest level. All right. Do you know what's so crazy? You might see it on Twitter. Someone, I think it was YSK Jackson, trust him, found one of the videos where I actually had like an afro.
Yo, I saw that. I didn't know if it was real, so I kind of left it alone. That was young 18.
Yeah, you thought it was fake, but it's actually real.
Vito, that's crazy. Vito, that's actually crazy, bro. That's messed up. Elijah, how does Chelsea spend 600 million, but West Ham makes a European final before you?
That is an interesting point.
It's called a process. Shout out to Philly, who have that bomb hardened in their team. But it's called a process. Okay, it's called a process, Elijah, man. It's called a process.
If Moyes does actually win the final with West Ham,
war a UCL. War a UCL.
Will he achieve more than what Pochettino has done in his career?
Yes.
And he's going to be your manager?
It's not confirmed yet. So I don't know. It's not confirmed yet. Money Mace. If Pep wins the treble, Fergie just has red nose tax. Oh, come on, don't do this, man. Come on, don't do this to your boy. don't do this to the Ferg. Hamza C. HH, check Sheffield Wednesday's results. LSG level bottling. Wait, what happened with Sheffield Wednesday?
They were like up 4-0 on aggregate, and then they blew it.
How do you blow a 4-0 league? Was it league?
Was this the playoffs?
Yeah, for playoffs, like League One, I think it is.
Barcelona's proud.
Oh no! I think maybe it was Peterborough or something. Was it? Are you sure Sheffield Wednesday?
Man, wow. Who cares? We're talking first division football here.
Abrit's fair. Inzaghi 6 out of 6 in finals. Maybe 7 next week versus Fiorentina. Wait, Inzaghi? Wait. Are you saying Simone Inzaghi or Filippo Inzaghi?
No, I think. So it's saying Inzaghi has been in 6
out of 6 finals.
He's won 6 out of 6 finals.
Oh, I think they play Fiorentina in the Coppa Italia.
Yeah.
Sorry, because of the Coppa Italia. Look, as again, the narratives are there, man. The narratives are there. Shout out to Abrit's Fair. Conference League fixed. The Europa League less teams.
Yeah. That's why they introduced it. So rather than having it kind of made the Europa League more focused, more interesting.
Yeah.
It did.
Abrit's Fair again. City and Inter have never faced in the CL. Dumfries will rise. Well, you mean rise and fall, bro. I told you, Dumfries is so bad that you have guys like Wesley Jackson putting money on whether he'll get a yellow card, bro. So I don't think we're not repping Dumfries, bro. Lord only knows what Grealish will do to him. The egg predictions on TikTok have Inter winning. Wait. No. I thought it was. I think there's a thingy with a dog, and I think this dog like heads a ball into the right bucket and everything. But do you know what's so crazy? I think it was FIFA. FIFA has predicted the right World Cup win, I think, the last 3 or 4 times, which is crazy. So shout out to FIFA, man. So I think it's Elijah. Shout out to Sheffield.
It was Peterborough, yeah.
Peterborough, okay. Shout out to them. Lost the first leg of League One playoff 4-0 to Peterborough. Just won the second leg 5-1 and won 5-3. That's crazy, bro.
How do you bottle a 4?
No. Basically, LSG lives.
Football you're in.
No. LSG lives. Shout out to Ifman. Management versus coaching. Management is working with what you have. Dodd. Man management, while coaching is philosophy system. Aha! Ifman is on the right track. Pep doesn't have Dodd like Fergie with Aberdeen and Man United. 99 treble and 2013 EPL. Mu Porto, Clough with Nottingham Forest. Ifman continues. Pep can have Dodd if he goes for the international management or go to Tottenham or Dortmund to cure their loser gene. Basically, best manager equals Ferguson, best coach equals Pep. Though that can change if Pep does dot. Look, for me,
I think it's the opposite.
No. I'm with. See, okay, here's my thing and so forth. I think, the key thing is manage. When I hear something like management, that is really like, give me anything, I will figure out how to get the best out of this, that, and stuff. So I can manage any situation you give me. Coaching is, here is this player. Training, and on the training ground, I can take you from here to here. Which is why Fergie can argue that Fergie sort of had the two flex. Because give Aberdeen, youngsters and so forth, he said what's up, but he was able to improve Neville, improve these guys. Now, is his coaching as good as Pep? I don't think so. But in terms of management of like the different styles he had, different systems he had, the different kinds of players he had and so forth, and the different like approaches he had with different players, he showed his management. So I'm actually a bit with Ifan with this. Okay, let me come to Ricardo and then think. So Ricardo, does Pep do this 3-3-piece treble, man?
I'm expecting him to do the treble.
You're expecting him to? So if it doesn't, he's a bomb?
No, because if you really want to talk about this treble, I don't see how this isn't, somebody hasn't rolled out the red carpet for him to get it done. I actually think the toughest matchup isn't going to be Inter Milan. I think it's going to be Manchester United. Just based, I always say that if you play a team in a final, it's especially in a competition outside of your domestic competition, there's always that familiarity tax, right?
Yeah.
You play them, you kind of know what they're about. You've gotten the best of them sometimes here and there. But we're talking about the FA Cup final. This is a final. They're facing a familiar foe, which Man City have gotten the best of this year.
Yeah.
Like, let's not forget about the beatdowns they gave.
Yeah. So Sevilla. Right? Shout out Maguire. Shout out to the fridge.
So I think United, based on familiarity, should be able to give Man City the strongest test. Now, I'm looking at this treble. I think this is the perfect opportunity for City to win it all. I've said this in the past that this is kind of a downtime for a lot of the big heavyweights of Europe that have been on down. So the guys who are at the top now, this is a perfect opportunity for them to win. That's why shout out to PSG. Like ultimate failures, they couldn't do it when the competition was low. But Man City are taking advantage of it, right? And that's what you want. So they're facing Inter Milan. Like we said, all the Italian teams are in the European finals, which is a big credit to the league. We have to see if they can replicate that for years to come, or else we're gonna see this as an anomaly season. The last time this actually happened was, I believe, in the 90s when it was Milan versus Juve in the final. I could be wrong. All the European competitions actually had an Italian team in it. The Italian teams won, actually. So Inter, as great as I have said in the past that the Italian league out of the top 5 leagues are the most competitive, because statistically it is, the overall quality of the league isn't that high. So, and Inter, they're 4th, and they're in a Champions League battle with AC Milan, which they might win. So I'm seeing the 4th best team in Italy versus the best team in the world right now.
Yeah,
I have to fully believe Man City are going to win. And then you look at the league title, their best competition was a young and inexperienced Arsenal team that no one really thought they were going to be in this position to begin with. But that's their competition. All the other teams, Liverpool is on the downside, Chelsea, worst season I've ever seen it. Manchester United, first year with Ten Hag, they're doing a little bit better. But the competition's not there. It's only been Arsenal. So that's the league for them. And then the FA Cup. This is what I'm saying. Manchester United is the toughest test. But what I actually want to see is Manchester United score a goal, because if Manchester United don't even score a goal, I've read, I don't know exactly how true it is, but it's going to be the first FA Cup victory that a team doesn't even concede a single goal the entire tournament. So this is, they have to win this. I'm sorry, like, if they lose the FA Cup, okay, whatever. You don't get the treble, but you have to win the Premier League, which I think is going to happen.
No, that's already done. That's already done.
And they have to win the Champions League. but the FA Cup is kind of just like a small little cherry on
No,
top.
I mean,
Doesn't really
look,
matter.
if City, like the Premier League is already done, but if City could choose FA Cup or UCL, 100% City UCL. No, ideally they want. I think look, you have such a good chance of winning the treble, and specifically, it's like listen, now Pep is a freak, and you can just see how obsessed this guy is, and I think Pep desperately wants to win this treble, and I think that it's set up beautifully, specifically with United in the FA Cup final. Because if you beat United on your way to doing the treble, it's the perfect story. It's the perfect story.
For sure. But I'll even tell you this, bro. Man City could lose the FA Cup final. They could have a colossal meltdown in the league. And if they win the Champions League final, they'll still be fine. Like, it's the Champions League.
Yeah.
It'll be upsetting they don't win the treble, but bro, at the end of the day, Champions League victory will heal all your wounds. So, but he needs to get it done. I think the treble at this point is not a dream; it's an expectation for them this season.
So basically, I say it'll happen. Vera, you say it'll happen, and Ricardo, you say it will happen. They will win the treble.
Yeah. It's not even that it will happen; it has to happen.
Yeah. Artists, how worried are you that your club is going to become irrelevant in a few weeks' time, or like a month or so forth?
Well, I agree with Ricardo that it has to, the treble has to happen.
Actually, hold on. Remember when you cracked the joke of like, imagine if they went trophyless? But see, that was only funny when Arsenal. I think it was before they had the whole Liverpool stuff. Then Arsenal just made it freaking. Arsenal, you made it too easy.
Arsenal bricked it.
They bricked it.
Arsenal bricked it.
Useless team.
But to be honest, big up Southampton. They got relegated, but they knocked City out of the Europa, the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Imagine a quadruple.
Yeah, exactly. Could have had a
no, that would be the.
So there you go.
Yeah, shout out Southampton, but thank you, man.
At the end of the day, the thing I said before for Jats, I always said that City have to go in order to get the triple. City have to go for Real Madrid and Manchester United, and if they get through Manchester United, they deserve the treble, hands down. So they outclassed Real Madrid. Obviously, I wasn't on the show because I was busy working. So, but I completely outclassed them. Probably deserved. Quite frankly, if you want to be objective, and I can easily say as a United fan, City are the best team in Europe objectively, because most of the big teams in Europe have been garbage. So and that's not a disgrace. That's not a discredit City because City have been amazing. But just when I look at the other team, the supposed big teams around Europe, I'm like, compared to where they have been, it's like Bayern are useless.
Yeah.
Dortmund obviously are still useless. Chelsea are more than useless.
Well,
Liverpool are doing really well now, but potentially Liverpool now possibly may have given City a threat, but obviously they've been crap for most of the season.
Yeah.
Madrid kind of aging squad.
Venus, don't do your eyes like that. RDS is telling the truth. RDS is cooking. So
Barcelona,
okay, come
really
on.
And truly, I'm not saying this to discredit City. I'm just saying that they are clearly the best. I'm just being they clearly are the best team in Europe. They are. They are. It's just all the other big teams.
This is a master class in terms of being objective.
It's objective, Gary. I'm saying the team's the best in Europe, man. Come on, what more do you want from me?
So in your view, do you agree with me of if they don't do the treble, most likely it will be United who stops them rather than Inter Milan?
What I will say this: if somehow Lukaku scores the winning goal in the Champions League final.
Wait, okay.
Adios.
Look,
I'm just saying if somehow
that can't happen. Okay. Let me explain something to everyone. Let me explain something to everyone. Anytime something I really want to happen, it doesn't happen. So, guys, you can bet your life and your family's life that Lukaku ain't doing nothing, because if Lukaku. It's too perfect. So because it's too perfect, it's can't there is a 0% chance of that happening. There's a 0% chance of that happening. So and also guys, look, Inter winning, like no. Like, look, guys, we've had our fun, guys. Those live streams will go down in history as classic streams. I don't care what I'm saying. I will put that live stream up against any online stream. It's one of the best, and for me, I feel proud. I deserve an Oscar for those live streams, and I'm happy. And I will do the web stream with an oil rig. So,
yeah, I mean, I love the reverse jinx, but you know, if that were to happen, it doesn't really matter what City do, whether they win the Premier League, FA Cup, etc. That doesn't matter. If that happens, it's not gonna happen. But if that happens, no one and again, it doesn't depend on shooting, but it's just that no one's going to. If that happens, no one's going to remember. Oh, City won the Premier League, or they won it. They're going to be thinking, well, City season. My God, how did you allow Lukaku and Inter to win in the Champions League final? That's why I think the Champions League final is more important than the FA Cup final against Manchester United. Even though I think Manchester United, if there's going to be a winner, are more likely to beat City, because you like to think by the time it gets to the FA Cup, which is I think is it beginning of June.
It's June 3rd. I think June 3rd is FA Cup, then June 10th is by
June 3rd, the only player that, depending on what happens in the next 2 weeks, that won't be injured will be Lisandro. But everyone else will be fit. You know, Martinez out, Varane not fit. I don't know if Varane is, but last time it was Varane and was it Luke Shaw that, you know, somehow at Old Trafford pocketed Haaland, and I still don't understand that to this day. You know, it's still weird. He's a left back and he pocketed a striker. And,
yeah, these are pulling at scraps, but I respect it. But
it's just weird.
Okay, listen. I've listened.
It's a bit weird.
Wait, hold on. Let me quickly just add that you can respond. Let me hit this. So, David C, temporary Madridista visa in progress. This is our last achievement standing. If the players, bar Ericsson, he's done so once already. Do not die on that pitch. They deserve a light rushing. Okay, you know what?
Relax.
All right, David C. Ricardo, I'm actually gonna remove you from this whole thing. Man. Okay, like Ricardo, just see, David, just okay. That's just, you know what. Jesus. All right. Okay. Also, because I trolled too much, YouTube has banned me from changing my name for 8 days. So I've been taking L after L lately. Man. Oh wow, damn. Look, but no, you're a temporary Madridista, but come on. So look, I mean, so your response to that, Victor, man.
Yeah. So let's rewind this. We're pursuing a three-peat right now, and for all of you that don't know, three-peat is American made. Pat Riley dubbed that term three-peat after winning back-to-back with the Lakers back in the 80s. All right? For you,
shout out to the Lakers,
giving you a little history. Shout out. Now,
wait, what do I shout out? The man from Eastern Europe is going to cook up those dudes, but continue though.
We'll see. We're pursuing this three-peat, and we're one game away from getting the three-peat. That's most important. That's one in front of me. On my plate, that's what I'm eating first. Next up, like I said, is this matchup against Manchester United. All right? Everyone talking about this is now turned into a farmers league. None of you had that type of talk when United were winning. Did
United ever get 100 points, 98 points? Were they backed by states? Did they have
the points? It happens.
Did they have a guy who is about to score 40 goals in his
Go look
first
at the
season?
amount of winning that they did, all right? No one talked about Farmers League.
Did they have a consecutive wins record, goals record, points record, 100 points, 98 points, 92 points? Yeah.
All right.
I'm just talking.
You're just talking.
And also, like, if anyone thought it could be 4 or 5 in a row, they could actually fully gentrify the EPL. So, yeah.
That's all a possibility. That's all a possibility. But were they winning? Were they winning these titles by 1 point? Was it going down to the wire? There
were quite a lot of fairly close.
Fairly close. I like that. Fairly close.
Like you presumably remember the one where you beat us on the last day. That was also a fairly close one. Remember?
Yeah, that was goal differential. That was goal differential, but that wasn't at your peak anymore. That's not when they were talking Farmers League. When they were talking Farmers League, look back and tell me whether you're winning by narrow margins or was it...
The problem is that the following season we won the league again, didn't we? We said what's up to you and said, Van Persie, we got that done.
I had no problem. I won my first. I was actually calm with it. I won my first Prem. I was calm with it. You guys, Sir Alex Ferguson won it and said bye-bye. And for the last decade, I've been looking back because you guys have been behind us with regards to the standings. But I just want to point out this pursuit to this treble, it's one game at a time. It's the Prem first, and then it's this FA Cup. And if it was anybody else, because you're talking about could we drop it, could we slip? I think if it wasn't United, I would agree with you. But it's United, and based off of DNA, the players themselves are going to be up for this match.
Oh, for sure. No, but it's worked both ways. So with I told you, Fergie's giving us team to for the FA Cup final.
They don't beat us when it counts, when it matters. When Pogba, blue hair and everything, stopped us from giving the guard of honor, sure, but didn't decide the league. It postponed it, but it didn't decide it. This decides the FA Cup, so the players are going to be up for it. Pep's going to.
No, wait, actually, no. Okay, but okay, so Vesa. No. But there's a narrative out there that that's basically you have a few cases. I think it's 110, and there are guys that are saying that we shouldn't even acknowledge anything until you've been free. So I'm just saying.
Listen. I came into the show with my hands free. There's no handcuffs. I'm here at my own accord.
No. Basically, they're saying that they're waiting for like your Snoop Dogg meme and so forth. When I said Snoop Dogg was free of the thing.
No, I want just before the Guard of Honor. I want the Premier League to release a statement.
Okay. But quick, before we move to it, this is my theory though.
Okay,
this is my theory. My theory is the FA or the powers that be don't like Man City. They don't, like because I think the establishment is Liverpool and Man United. I think Pep even alluded to it during the 1997 point season where he said, no, you guys don't like us being the guys winning, specifically at Liverpool or Man United's expense. So my conspiracy theory, again, it's a conspiracy theory, is that these charges have just sort of been cooked up because they want to try to discredit Man City because they don't like City's existence in the Premier League and their dominance there. That's just my theory.
This is what's crazy. They don't like the Rocky story. They don't like it. They don't want another. They don't want another. Drag yourself up from the bootstraps. They don't want another.
City were Drago.
Not invited to the table.
Steroids to get really good. I thought, if anything, they're Drago, aren't they?
What?
It's Drago. It's Drago. Wait, hold on. So now let me come to Ricardo here because let me just expose Ricardo right now. So as we all know, Ricardo, who also called Peru, is ageist. So when I said that we were going to talk about Fergie and Pep and so forth. Oh, wow, okay.
Just in time.
Yassi, what's going on?
Yes. I don't know what's good. Yeah, that's weird. So what's it called? He referred to this to quote him verbatim. Ricardo says, "HH, please give me the link so I can cook that old fat." That is what Ricardo sent me.
It wasn't exactly
word
like that,
for word. That's what he sent me word for word. And I said, Ricardo, like, that's a bit rude. And Ricardo said, I don't give a damn. He's old. So, Ricardo,
hit me with it, man.
If Pep wins this treble, considering Fergie's achievements with Aberdeen, his longevity with Man United, his treble in 1999, and him knocking Liverpool off their perch, would this Pep treble put him past Fergie, taking everything into consideration?
Okay, so I was asking to ask you a question before, but it seems like you kind of answered it for me already. Because I wasn't expecting you to say, taking into consideration what he did with Aberdeen. Okay, I wasn't expecting, so I didn't look. I love history, right? Any kind of history, so I always like to look into the facts, right? So I can't speak on the Aberdeen thing he had going on, right? I was way before my time, like maybe 2 times over me. But if we're gonna include that, maybe Peaky Blinder Studios can help out. You can help out. I don't know about Vader. Maybe Black don't crack tax on him. He might be a little young. But if we're gonna do that, then we gotta go to Pep's Barca, right? I mean, that's where it started.
Oh, yeah, cool. I mean, no, that's fine.
All right,
All into account.
Because you know me, that's my team. All right. So there's a lot of misconceptions. Like, I'm gonna cook, by the way. Like, this is gonna be first degree homicide on Sir Alex Ferguson. All right.
It sounds like you wanted to say fraud. It sounds like
No. I thought he was going to say fudge, and also the bad fudge,
No, hold on 1 second. Don't interrupt me, please. Don't interrupt me, because I've actually looked at this.
I'll only interrupt you if you throw any strays at Chelsea or at the Super Eagles. So
okay, fair enough.
Or at Venice Blue. Yeah. So what are you saying?
All
So
right,
continue.
so when Pep took Barca, I know a lot of people don't like context when it comes to the whole Barcelona thing, right? Barcelona finished third in that last season. But he inherited a team that finished third, okay? And what did he do when he first came in? He dumped Ronaldinho, all right?
Which is something that I will always hold against him and so forth. Okay?
Amen. In his first year, he took a team that finished third before. He not only won a treble, he won a sextuple. Okay. Now, let's jog back.
This is what we're doing.
Let's jog back.
Wait. When do you mention Messi? When do you mention Messi in those sorts of?
Hey, Jake, let
me cook. I haven't even set the.
No, because trust me, there are the responses I have, because we're gonna mention Messi.
Okay.
You're moving like Gallagher right now.
All right, hold on. Stop interrupting me. It's gonna take forever. Stop interrupting me. All right. In his first year in management, senior level management, okay, he won the treble. But in that final, he beat the manager who led a three-peat Manchester United, who were also the defending UCL champions. And at that time in 2008, the best player in the world, Ronaldo. And Pep and Messi gave him that smoke. All right? That's the first season. Now, in the second and third season, he went on to three-peat La Liga. Don't forget that. And Mourinho and Cristiano Ronaldo were a part of the second and the third one. Don't forget that, all right? And then we saw in 2011, both finals, in those two losses that Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson have in Champions League finals, they came in the hands of Pep Guardiola. We not only beat him once, but we beat him twice. But, however, in 2011, right, he gun-butted him. He spun the block. He gave him the smoke. He put him in a split. He curb stomped him. He snuffed him in his nose. Shout out to Vader. He gave him a death house. He gave him the beatdown of a century in the final. My man found anxiety at his age. You remember when he had the little Arthur meme going on? Bro, he gave him that. Ferguson,
Artists, you're gonna have to get a meal ready, man.
I've got to respond.
I can't wait for this meal. I can't wait for this meal response.
Hold on. I haven't even gotten to the Premier League conversation.
Yeah, he's just preheating right now.
Okay.
Okay, look, I'm gonna highlight Ferguson's best career highlight. He three-peated the Premier League. He won the treble in his first Champions League with Manchester United. He won 2 Champions League. What it took 23 years for Ferguson to accomplish, Pep did it in 4 years. All right? Now, let's go on to the Premier League. All right? Now, I'm going to need some witnesses. First account, witnesses to help me with this. Shout out to, both these guys right here. Ferguson came into management from Manchester United based on my research in 1986-1987 season. Am I correct?
Okay, so wait, Ricardo, did they actually do homework on this stuff? Because I could just imagine you sitting down with like a freaking pen and paper.
No. You know what's funny?
Are we having a Fergie Pep thing right now?
Yeah, Fergie Pep.
You need to simmer down. You need to simmer down because I'm cooking right now.
Hold your head up, Yasir.
Yes, that expression doesn't spell good news, but I haven't had a reaction to it.
I'm in the middle of my cookout, man.
Okay.
Come on. I'm generous enough to invite you guys. Now, see, the funny part is that HH, you bring that up. I was curious about like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I need to look at this Pep, what he has done into the Premier League. You know, in all respect, I have to look at Ferguson too, because this is the two guys we're comparing, right? So when I did my research, Ferguson became United manager in 86, 87. Okay. Now, for some context, because we love context on this channel, the previous 5 seasons, okay. So this is a good, it's 5 seasons, all right. United
Very
were
good sample size.
yeah,
Very good sample size.
United were a top 4 team. All right. They finished third twice and they finished fourth 3 times. Okay. In Ferguson's first season, he finished 11th. Shout out to Chelsea. Second season, he had a good season. He came second. Wicked. Awesome. Great season. But third season, he ran it back. He finished 11th again. All right. In his fourth season, he doubled down. He's like, hold my 11th place. I'll give you 13th. Came 13th. When then things started to get better, he came sixth in his fifth season. He came second in his sixth season. And then finally, in the seventh season, they finally won the Premier League title. All right?
In the seventh season.
In the 78, it took Ferguson 7 years to win the Premier League. Okay?
Imagine that level of patience today. Giving a manager 6
Was it the
years.
Premier League?
Hold on. I'm getting to that. Hold on. Peaky Blinders. I'm not finished. Peaky Blinders, I'm not
the Football
finished.
League. You're confusing the two. The Premier League started from 1993. So
Wait, I'm starving. When is this meal ready, man, bro? We don't have all day waiting for this meal, man.
No, hold on.
Go on.
Then this is Pep. Then we move on to Pep in the Premier League. When he inherited Manchester City, he inherited the same position Ferguson inherited United in fourth place. Okay? In his first season,
Okay, right.
he finished third place. I think Chelsea won that year, right? Under Antonio Conte. Shout out to Chelsea. In his second season, he won the Premier League and he won it as a Centurion. Okay? So now, if we like a little bit more context, this is what I found based on some of the analytics that I found. Shout out to what's that Microsoft application? The one you can put the data in. I forgot what it's called.
PowerPoint?
No, the green one. The green
Excel.
one.
Excel.
That works wonderful.
Wait.
Yo,
You forgot what's Excel? Nah, sorry. No.
But hold on, bro.
Microsoft Excel. Bro, we have that in school. That's basic school.
But I never used that. I only use Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. Okay?
Yeah, no, I rate that.
Back to the point. So I did some digging based on the Premier League champions, the history of the great Premier League champions, right? So what I found out is that out of all the title-winning teams, I had to write this down because this was like, I was surprised when I saw this. Out of all the title-winning teams, only 3 teams have ever scored over 100 goals in a season, all right? And the Centurions broke and set the record at 106 goals, all right? However, there's 5 teams in the history of the PL that have only scored over 100 goals, all right? Pep's Man City, that came in second to Liverpool, that one season, the Liverpool actually won, they scored joint third highest of 102 goals. If you look at the top 6 highest goal-scoring seasons in the Premier League history, Pep is responsible for 3 of them. All right? That's insane. Now, if you want to talk about insane attack and defense, you have to look at goal difference, right?
Oh my God.
There's only been 4 teams in Premier League history that had a plus 70 goal difference. Pep Guardiola accounts for 3 of them. All right. And the other one, shout out to Chelsea. They were the first team, plus 71. All right. The great Sir Alex Ferguson only had 3 seasons where he achieved 90 points plus in his 27 years of management. Okay. Guardiola matched it in 6 seasons. All right. The highest amount of points that Ferguson was able to get was 92 points and it was in a 42 game season. Whereas Guardiola, his lowest 90-point tally was 93 points. That's higher than Pep Guardiola's ever higher. All right. There's only been 13 teams that have won the Premier League with 90 plus points in a single Premier League history. All right. And only 11 of those teams have won the Premier League. The two other teams that have 90 points and didn't win was those two Liverpool teams that was competing and lost the title to Manchester City. You can say he has all these troubles. You can say he has the longevity. Pep Guardiola, what he has done to the Premier League has been insane. Now, assuming he wins the treble, he would have that, which matches Sir Alex Ferguson. He would have a free feed in France.
Wait, Ricardo. Check if echo cancellation is off because your voice keeps coming in and out and so forth, you know. So
break time. Hello? You hear me?
I have to say, from an objective standpoint, the fact that this is coming from Ricardo and not a City fan carries a lot more weight because of the objectivity.
Hold on. I'm almost done.
He's a Pep sexual. He's a Pep sexual.
Don't label him. Don't label him.
Let Ricardo finish because I have my speech, but
Is the mic better? Is the mic better?
Because trust me, RDS has something cooking. Okay, we have to hear both meals. Both meals must be tasted. This is a bake off, the great bake off. So
is the mic fine now?
yeah, it's fine. It's good now. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
So he would have a 3-peat in Prem. He has England's first ever domestic treble, and if you count the Community Shield, it's actually a quadruple.
The Formidables.
I didn't even know that, but thank you, Vader. All right. Now, if he wins next year the Premier League title, he will be the first manager to not only win he will not be he will be the first man, but not to win 4 EPL titles in a row. He will be the first manager in the history of English First Division football to win 4 top flight league titles in a row. It's never been done before. Pep has forget about the stats. Let's look at who Pep is. Pep has inspired Ten Hag, Arteta, now Xavi. Bro might be Jesus. Like, he's already beaten all his ops. The guy is competing with his disciples at this point. Who did Big Fergie inspire? Gary Neville? His last game in management, as far as I remember as a Barcelona fan, he got mollywopped 7-0 by Barcelona, and they gave him the boot after that. I'm sorry. Like, Fergie's great. 27 years of great management. But what it took him to do in 27 years, Pep Guardiola is going to do in 7. And that's not even including what he did at Barcelona. This is not a competition.
all right. So before RDS has his chance as a mail, that was interesting. But we must give RDS the chance to respond and again refute all these claims. So let me just hit these Dubinsky's. My top 10 managers: Ferguson, Pep, Rinus Michels, who developed Total Football, Don Carlo, Arrigo Sacchi, the AC Milan manager. I think he also did Italy in 1990. Mourinho, Capello, Bob Paisley, Brian Clough, and Hero from Inter. Prime Mo would have been top 3 if he didn't have a huge fall off. For me, look, that's interesting, but for me, I feel Mourinho should be a lot higher. Personally, I think Mourinho should be a lot higher. I mean, I think Rinus Michels is a great philosophy guy for philosophy, but I think thing is higher. And I'm shocked that you don't have Cruyff. I'm shocked that you've got Rinus Michels there, but you actually don't have Cruyff there. Also, we may actually also have to give a shout out to Beckenbauer. I think Beckenbauer also succeeded both at club level, international level, and also won as a player. So I think Beckenbauer is one to look at. Mo had a career of Eminem, half Hope's favorite rapper. It's not. Huge peak run, but fall off is too huge to ignore for the GOAT convo. If Em retired after 03, his career is GOAT, just like Mourinho if he retired after 2015. For me, no. I think no. Eminem's music has aged like spoiled milk. That isn't the same as your boy Mourinho, bro. So I completely disagree. Don't compare Mourinho to Eminem. Don't you dare do that, because he won a freaking Conference League last season. So Matt Gee, City didn't drag themselves off from the bootstraps. The total opposites. Ferguson won with 6 academy players in 42 game seasons and extra playoff games. Respect. All right. Ardis, do you want to respond to these allegations, man, made against your team?
Allegations. Okay, so I could get emotional, I could go those things, but I wanna be calm, calm and
That one hurt. That one hurt. I'm sorry.
So, so I think with a lot of these things, when we have these debates, you always got to think about context. You've always got to think about context. So one of the things I said with Guardiola is that that if you're going to start to talk about when Fergie came to Manchester United, it was interesting that well, firstly, it's interesting he glossed over what happened in Scotland, because the reason why Manchester United went for Ferguson in the first place.
Wait, hold on. Ernest, are you holding a pen?
No.
Yeah, he got caught lacking stuff.
I saw a pen. I saw a pen in your hand.
Oh no, it's a comb. It's a comb.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Go. So, because the reason why Manchester United went from the first place is because of what he did in the Scottish League, and obviously, bear in mind, it's difficult because a lot of people see the Scottish League now as a bum-ass league because it's regressed a lot, compared to also the leagues. But the reality is that in the 80s, at the time, especially it was around the time where Celtic won the Champions League, the Scottish League was one of the most competitive leagues in world football. It was. So when Ferguson came in, when he started his management, we started St and then he moved to Aberdeen. This is a guy who dethroned the would-be powers of Rangers and Celtic and took an Aberdeen side, won 3-4 titles, and won them their first European trophy. And bear in mind, I don't know, because, maybe because I don't know, because last time I checked, I can't remember the last team, and again, I don't know, maybe Yasser correct me. Hey, Chief, do you know the last team that beat Real Madrid in the European final? Do you know?
I think it was Aberdeen.
And who was the manager?
Sir Ferguson.
Oh, right, okay.
What year was this?
Fine. No.
I heard from Liverpool. I heard from Liverpool fans that they were the last.
Wait, no, let him cook. He didn't step into your kitchen. You were in your kitchen by yourself. Stay out of the kitchen. Stay out of the kitchen, bro.
Just said, so like, but Barcelona done it? Nah, it is what it is, So Sir Alex Ferguson did that. So we're talking about finals. I'm just saying, so context is important. You got an up-and-coming manager who took a bum-ass Aberdeen side and dethroned what would be the powers of Scottish football at that time, and that is why Manchester United went from him. Now, onto obviously the league. It was obviously the English First Division. The English First Division in the 80s and the 90s cannot be even compared to what the Premier League was now. It wasn't the money. We're talking about like freaking, like Pep Guardiola is playing in an era where like a lightest touch players go down. So you got to understand, so Alex is managing an era where if you kick a player in the head, it's not a foul. Okay, like if you kick a player in, like it's a much more aggressive, intense sort of time. So, and on top of that, you got to understand that United, because it's interesting. Ricardo talks about positions. Who gives a damn about positions? United had won a trophy for 26 years. 26 years before he came. If I recall, did Ronaldinho win trophies at Barcelona?
Yes, he did.
He did, right. Okay, so Barcelona were winning titles, they were winning Champions Leagues before Pep Guardiola came.
Yes.
Correct.
And I think City were winning leagues before, and FA Cups before.
Well, I'll come to City in a second. So, this is my meal. This is some cooking.
Okay.
So, like, yes, they were fourth in the League One, where pretty much in the English Football League, there was no money in the league. So there's unlike today, where there's a huge disparity between clubs that have one or not. But at least up until the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, when to be honest, you could argue it all changed when Abramovich came from Chelsea. That's where I feel like the whole money aspect of thing really kind of followed into the Premier League from football. But before then, really, the disparity in the Football League, there wasn't that much disparity. So Ferguson is coming into a Manchester United side that haven't been relevant, because at that time, the league was the only important thing. Because also, you also bear in mind in context that I think because of a certain Liverpool team, all English sides were banned from European football till about, I think it was 92, from 1987 or 86, 1992, because of the Liverpool Juventus. So they were out European football for, ironically, when Fergie came in for like 4, 5, 6 years. Okay. Now you go in. Okay, you got a garbage side. Well, you have to work. You don't have money. You can't go and buy and get the best players and stuff like that. You've got to work with what you have. And you somehow, by the Manchester United Academy, the class of '92, you're able to, by working with the right people, etc., galvanize a set of players that you can then use, that you can then coach to go and start to win. I'm not saying we didn't sign players. Obviously, you sign, you can sign, etc., but the core of that initial squad, okay, came from the class of '92. Okay, and of course they went on. I mean, for goodness sake, man, like.
And also, there's that famous quote by Alan Hansen: "You can't win anything with kids."
Yeah, you can't win any kids. There you go.
So.
And the thing is, the further out, because we talk about the whole coach, because that's why I kind of wanted the whole coach managerial debate thing, because I actually do think that Pep Guardiola is the more superior manager. I do, compared to Sir Alex Ferguson. I do, but coaching, as I define it, in terms of you're actually able to take a bum and elevate them to a certain level. For me, that will always be Sir Alex Ferguson, regardless. I'm not saying that Pep Guardiola is a bad coach, but it's just that with the types of players, and this is why you look at that treble squad. We go to the treble. They have no right winning the treble. If I ask you guys objectively, was Solskjaer world class? Is Teddy Sheringham world class? Is Blomqvist world class? Is Phil Neville world class? Is even David Beckham? All these players world class? You guys are going to obviously say no, they're not. So how is it that you, as a coach, are able to win multiple Premier League titles with players that historically are not deemed to be world class players? You then move on, and obviously the longevity, because I think this is the thing that and fair enough, Pep, I think, has started to do this, is that we just assume that just winning Premier League titles, that you can continue to motivate players to continue to do it over and over and over again. No. Ferguson had a habit of instilling that winning mentality to players over and over again, season after season, but at the same time refreshing players, refreshing squads to actually achieve what they need to achieve. Now, Premier League era, this idea that it was a farmers' league, I'm sorry, I don't know how Sir Alex Ferguson is going against peak Mourinho, peak Ancelotti, peak Benitez, peak Wenger. Who the hell, managerial-wise, has Pep Guardiola gone against in the Premier League era? Klopp?
Mikel?
Mikel?
Last time I was aware, Jurgen Klopp has a higher points tally 2 seasons than.
Yeah, okay, cool, okay, but okay, so point is one manager.
Because Pep Guardiola makes these guys like they're not on his level.
When did these peak managers come to the league, though? Like,
they're not on
when
his
did these
level.
managers come to the league to challenge Sir Alex Ferguson? Didn't he already have a run in the early '90s before these managers came in to test them?
You mean like you mean like Kevin Keegan? Which manager? What do you talk like? What do you mean?
The names you mentioned didn't come in until later.
You mean in
where he's already established?
In '98, Austin was late '90s.
You did not mention him. You talked to Mourinho.
I said Austin.
No. He said Wenger. He said Wenger.
And you probably put in Kevin Keegan earlier because at that time, So the point I'm trying to make is that he, over a longer period of time, Sir Alex Ferguson tested himself against multiple managers. I take Ricardo's point about the Champions League final, especially 2009, 2011. At the end of the day, Sir Alex Ferguson is using a 40-year-old Ryan Giggs in a midfield. A 40-year-old Ryan Giggs in the midfield. And this is what
Adios, we were playing against the Avengers, bro. We were literally playing against the Avengers, bro. And they had Thanos. They literally had Thanos. Avengers plus Thanos.
I can screenshot that 2011 side and I go, almost.
They had a nuclear weapon called Messi, bro. Come on.
Most of these players above the age of 29. Okay, they should be retired, and obviously that's why
29 is retirement. Yeah. That's your prime.
At that time, it was.
No, it wasn't.
At that time, it was.
Wait, which year? Which decade are you talking about?
I think it's around to 2011.
Yeah, at that time,
29 is not retirement. 29 is not retirement.
Can I ask a question, please?
I keep on being insulted. I gave Ricardo.
He's still cooking. He is still cooking. Remember,
my bad.
Peru was cooking for 3 hours, bro. So come on, let's give him a start.
I'm up. And then you can respond. Okay, so at the end of the day, like I actually said, I actually think that Pep Guardiola because I define management, in-game tactics, the substitution, all the rest of it on top of what you do with your players. So I do actually think that Pep Guardiola is actually a better manager than Sir Alex Ferguson. But I think when it comes to being able to utilize bums and get them to achieve their potential as a coach, I think Sir Alex Ferguson will always be superior. Now, the reality is, whether Pep fans, in fact, want to like it or not, all the clubs he came to, were successful before he came and will be successful and was successful after he left. As far as Pep Guardiola left Barcelona. Pep Guardiola before Pep Guardiola came to Barcelona, they had one Champions League and one league titles. He leaves Barcelona. Last time I checked, they still won a treble with a different manager. Okay, he goes to Bayern Munich. And bearing in mind, he always goes to the team that is arguably deemed as one of the best in that league at some period of time, which Manchester United were not seen as the best in Division 1 or the Premier League. And neither were Aberdeen. Facts. They weren't. He made them that way.
I don't even know where Aberdeen is. Like, where is it?
He goes to Bayern. Yes, he lubricates Bundesliga, wins titles, but at the end of the day, Heineken comes in, gets a treble. I understand. And then he goes to City, obviously with director of football, which helps. He's the director that works with him, spends 200 million on fullbacks until he gets the team that he wants. Because remember, he's not using the team that he inherited and then slowly working it. He's spending tons of money to replace multiple players until he finds players that work, which is very different. And it still takes you how many seasons to get to a semi-final? Something that Pellegrini achieved in his second season at Manchester City. And actually, I think that City actually did fairly well against Manchester in that semi-final. I think they were unlucky. Sterling was a brick.
Was the on goal, yeah.
Sterling was a brick. And Sterling was a brick, if you want to call it. It was a brick. So, big up. Of course, they're much better and they're better position, etc. But even now, as I said at the start of this thing, literally, who is the best team in Europe that's around that can challenge City at this point? I mean, even Bates will agree with me. But Barcelona and Real Madrid are the best teams in La Liga, and they got bantered by both Manchester teams, just like that. So who is actually, me and Bates can agree with that. So City bantered Madrid, United bantered Barcelona. It is what it is. So I'm sure Ricardo might have comments, but it is what it is. But the overall point I'm trying to make is that
so even if Pep wins the treble, it doesn't put him past Fergie.
No, but this is what I'm saying. In terms of as a manager, I've already said that I believe that Pep Guardiola is a better manager than Sir Alex Ferguson. I've already said that. So I'm not. So for me, that's not even with or without the treble. He already is in what he's achieved. But for me, when it comes to coaching, it's like take it away from Ferguson, for example. Let's say in the final, going to the final example, that Inzaghi does that thing with Lukaku. I'm not going to say Inzaghi is somehow now a better manager than Pep Guardiola. That's stupid. But you could make an argument, given what he's currently achieving as a coach, that he could be a better coach. Because given the scrubs that he had, given the fact that Conte, with a similar team, couldn't even qualify from the group stages, and yet he's been able to potentially close to a title and potentially win a Champions League, you say, no, this is a good coach, a really good coach, because he's taken what he had with minimal spending and achieved something big. But he's not a better manager than Pep. So that's how I see it with Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep. It's like Sir Alex Ferguson, for me, will always be the better coach compared to Pep because of what he had to build. But Pep Guardiola is a superior manager.
Yes, where do you stand with this, and I'll come to you first. Yes, where do you stand with this, Pep and Fergie? And then I'll come to you.
Shout out to you, RDS. I feel like we're supposed to be a team here because we have these two down there that supports Pep Guardiola. One, his manager is Pep Guardiola. Shout out to you, Fader. You need to protect your man. Ricardo, I don't know why you're protecting your former manager. I mean, it is what it is. Barcelona fans are living in the past. They still want Messi, etc.
You guys are still in the past. You haven't won shit in like 10 years.
Listen. One thing I do disagree
Can you qualify for the Europa League, Ricardo? That's all we ask. At least qualify for that. Then
we literally won our league title. When was the last
I know. I'm just saying.
One thing I'll say is I disagree with RDS. I think in terms of better manager, I think it's Sir Alex Ferguson. better coach, I think it's crazy to say Sir Alex Ferguson is a better coach than Pep. I mean, in terms of coaching, like actually coaching the team, playing a specific style of play, revolutionizing the game, the way he even coached this team compared to playing the false nine and everything. Bro, nah, I don't even remember a time.
No, actually, you know what I think? There's a word. I think there's a word that everyone is missing: tactician.
Yes.
I think there are 3 words: management, basically being a manager, a tactician, and a coach. For me, I think being a tactician comes to the kind of strategies that you're able to do specifically in the game, pre-game, and so forth. Coaching is about training, the kind of drills that you do in training. Management is how adaptable you are to the different kinds of players you have and so forth. So I think management for me encompasses everything. Management encompasses man-to-man motivation, relationships, dealing with players, and coaching, and being a tactician as well. So that's fun. I think those 3 terms. But yeah, go for it.
I think we just define it differently. But
yeah.
Because
the thing is, I mean, when I think about manager, I mean, look, you look at Xavi, you look at Arteta, bro, and then you look at Pep. Like Pep, I envision Pep being on the pitch in training, literally yelling at his players, literally coaching them. I don't envision Sir Alex Ferguson ever doing that. Sir Alex Ferguson, it seems like he, deviated that task to his coaching staff. Similar to this, hence why Sir Alex Ferguson, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did the same way because he was trying to quote unquote follow in the footsteps of Sir Alex Ferguson. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never was on the training. It was Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna, etc. This is a very difficult debate, to be honest, because a part of me wants to be like, Sir Alex Ferguson, he's the greatest, blah, blah, all that stuff. Screw Pep, right? His bald head, ain't that bad. Anyways, but it's hard, like, because Pep did, quote unquote, change the way the game is played. He did. That's the truth. Like, in a way, hence why the whole, even talking about Arsene Wenger as well, I just to compare, Arsene Wenger changed the game. Pep Guardiola changed the game. I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson ever changed the game. In my opinion, I think he's an overall better manager because he encompassed everything in terms of management. Man management, I think he's a better tactician. But in terms of changing and implementing a philosophy that pretty much is still tested from time. We're talking about and revolutionizing the game. Yeah, Pep Guardiola has that. So
was it Pep that changed the game or Cruyff?
I think Cruyff. I didn't get this genius is out there, but the main genius we talked about in terms of science is Albert Einstein. There was Sir Isaac Newton, but yes, Sir Isaac Newton.
No, but I think at this point is that Pep didn't develop this style. It was Renos Michels in the 70s.
But then again, I feel like
it's like he refined it and so forth, but he did. So basically, you can say that he changed, like he refined it, but the guys that created it were the Dutch guys in the 70s.
It's like the first wheel was made out of wood, and Pep made the wheel and used rubber. Like
there we go. Yeah.
The first car was the first move into the first car. Now we have innovations, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I'm looking at. I'm not lying to you. I was trying to do a little bit of research. The little time I had. Ricardo, if I'm wrong, correct me. Did Pep Guardiola win 2 trebles at Barcelona?
No, he won one.
He won it in 2009, right? He didn't
win the first season. He
didn't win it in 2011. He lost the Copa del Rey, is it?
He lost to Goatnaldo.
Who was the manager of Ricardo?
Jose.
Say his name. Jose stopped him from getting the treble, and so Jose then forced him into a sabbatical.
So
he stopped him twice.
Just to get to the point, what Pep Guardiola did when at the age that he did it in, how old he was, the way he's still the best manager in the world now.
Is there a Messi tax or I don't know?
I mean, But then,
no.
like,
How come he get no? Listen,
No. I was just talking. Like,
Does Ferguson get a
I've
goal
like
line?
this allergy. Like, I've got this like thinking
Nah,
like stuff just comes to my word. I'm just saying.
okay. But
if
here's the
there's
thing.
if there's
Like,
a Messi
did he have
tax,
like Iniesta's? Like, Iniesta, like, is he like a top
class
5
of
midfielder?
92
Top 2?
tax.
No, I'm just saying, like, is Iniesta like a top 5 midfielder of all time?
Why do we only do this for
Wait, time out.
Wait,
Guardiola?
did Spain have like 6-7 Barca players that won like 3 international trophies?
Yes, you're
Or, I don't know.
burning.
It's like 2 euros, 2 euros.
Fair point, actually.
Wait, was it like back-to-back euros or like I don't know, like or something like that?
Here's the thing.
I don't know. Like my memory's a bit hazy. I don't know.
If
Yes,
the
I'm sorry.
If the argument is who can go into a team, build the team from the ground up, literally from the ground up, Pep, I don't think Pep can ever do that because
No.
he has it. He simply has it.
Oh no, because and I think yes, I'm sorry, but I think this is where we get into. So I'll go back to you. I think both of them have their strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
Give Pep his players, he's unbeatable. Give Pep his players. I believe he's the greatest league manager of all time if you have his players. But give Pep just any players, he can't function. You have to give him his specific players. Give Fergie anything, he can figure it out.
But HH, you
So,
say that, right?
those are
We
two
say that,
different
right?
things.
We say that, right?
I'm sorry, Victor, that's the fact.
No,
I'm sorry, no, Victor.
no,
It's
okay.
strengths and weaknesses. Like,
Fergie's-
no, hold on, Victor. Let me be
Fergie's-
sorry. Let me be fairer. Sorry, let me be fair here. As Yasser just said, Fergie's weakness is he did not impact the game. None of his teams really made any imprint on the game. Pep's strength is his teams and so forth have pretty much changed how guys function. And his impact that he's had has been way more profound than Fergie. But you have to give him his players for him to produce the kind of stuff that Barca's team and our City team did.
One of Fergie's greatest-
Here's one thing I'll
Why
say.
don't you ever give Diego?
Here's no, wait, Ricardo.
Oh, shush. Yes, talk over him, man.
Here's one thing I'll say. I'm gonna give Pep another thing as well. I think Pep, he surprised me in that sense, what you just said, because I don't think Sterling was ever a Pep player. He made it work. I don't think, as much as you could say the whole Zlatan situation, he's won the league title with Zlatan. Now we're talking about Erling Haaland. I don't think Erling Haaland will ever be a Pep player. But golly, he's making it work. So I'm gonna be real with you. Like, one thing I'll say about Pep is adaptable as well. He wasn't at one point in his career. He wasn't. But then from now, it seems like the more he's been in management, the more adaptable he became. The more I felt he grew in terms of management. Like this version of Pep Guardiola is a different version than it was Bayern Munich. A different version than it was in the Barcelona. It is. You actually have to give credit to Pep that the growth of Pep is there. We're talking about last season and the season before. The 2 seasons, like this is the 3rd season he's going to win the league. The 2 seasons in a row he won the league.
No. But yes, like my only thing with Pep is, can Pep function without truly special players and with no money?
Hold on.
See, this is nonsense. This is nonsense.
No. Okay. Yes or no? When he took over Barcelona, did they or did they not have Messi, who we knew when he had the umbilical cord attached that he was going to be the
That's
next
like
great
inheriting
Spain?
the class of '92, though. That's
Stop
part
it.
of
Victor,
that's
stop
part of
it.
the no.
Victor, stop it. Hold on, Victor. Are you comparing the class of '92 to Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi?
No,
Stop
when
it.
you talk about Messi, and you want to put all that weight on him, look at what came through class of '92. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can't slight one.
What did come through class of 92? Name the players.
No, you already did it. You already talked about how.
Name. You say they go.
You build your own case.
Was Nicky Butt there?
You're not.
Gary
gonna
Neville, Nicky Butts.
You're not going to slight one manager for what he got through the club and the other manager giving him.
No. I made a very simple statement here, which is that
It's not
Pep.
true.
So if Pep Guardiola had the class of '92, he'll achieve league titles and so forth.
Why are we acting
Possibly.
like Hold on. Why are we acting like when he inherited Barcelona, they were a well-oiled team? They were not. They were not good. They had ran their course with the team that
They
had
were
that
in a much
wild card
better
had.
situation than United.
Okay,
were.
but my point is that we act like the players he was given they were automatically already world beaters. That he made Messi who he was. Messi was a right winger and turned him into a central forward. He's the one that kicked out Yaya Toure and brought in a 21-year-old Sergio Busquets.
Okay. No, which is true.
He picked out,
but
Dani
it's still
Alves.
Barcelona, though.
No, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Who won the UCL in 06?
Okay, but the team that he won, the team that won in 06 was not exactly the same as the team that won in 09. He picked Dani Alves from from Sevilla, right? Like these are examples of that he actually built this team in his idea. And then you go to Bayern Munich. Well, the Bayern Munich situation is a bit different because he's coming to a team that had just won a treble. You can't top a treble. The only
wait. So real quick, can you name me who played in the front three of that Barca attack?
Which team are you talking about?
0809. 0809.
It was Eto'o. Hold on. It was Eto'o and Henry. Henry, let's be honest.
Oh no. Let's just real quick. I'll let you go real quick. So Henry.
He also brought Henry too.
Henry, a guy who was considered is considered the greatest Premier League player of all time. Eto'o. Didn't Eto'o score in the UCL final in 06 against Arsenal? I was one of the best strikers in the world. He didn't have scrubs. He didn't have a bunch of losers.
But you're acting like that any manager that was put in that position would have won the sixth treble regardless.
True.
No, it's not. Okay.
No, Ricardo, you're right. He had to do something, but I'm sorry, you didn't have a bunch of scrubs.
No, okay, but even if you want to move on, right? I'll always say this. When you compare the teams he had at Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City, I will say out of all these three teams, the weakest team, the team he actually had to build, was Manchester City in his image. But to extend an olive branch, he also had the most financial backing from Manchester City compared to Bayern Munich, who were very financially disciplined. And Barcelona at that time, they were really focused on their youth academy. Now, but we look at this Man City team. I'm looking at this Man City squad right now, and this is where people are going to get revisionist. If that team that he fielded out last night, the only players that was truly world-class that he brought in that we knew he was surefire going to be world-class was Erling Haaland. Because you guys don't want to have this conversation. Ederson, he wasn't a world-renowned goalkeeper. He came from Benfica. Kyle Walker was in Spurs winning nothing. Ruben Diaz was a young talent out of Benfica. Akanji, a lot of Dortmund fans didn't even want this
Alvarez was sweeping the streets of Buenos Aires and River Plate. I'm helping you. Ricardo, it says Alvarez was sweeping the streets of Buenos Aires.
Let Ricardo cook. One player that destroyed
John Stones. Bro, John Stones, let's be honest, he was a clown even when he was at Everton. Yeah. Rodri.
Has HH frozen?
Oh, wait.
His mic has been freezing the whole time, but he's there. Rodri.
Wait. Can you guys? Okay, yeah.
Rodri only spent one season at Atletico Madrid, and he wasn't exactly the best DM in the world. Bernardo Silva was a young player in a very young, talented team in Monaco. Kevin De Bruyne was a Chelsea reject who had a fantastic season at Wolfsburg, and he brought him and made him the player he is. He made him the player he is.
Sorry, Ricardo. De Bruyne was here. Pellegrini.
Okay, sorry. But there's no doubting.
Yeah. Stop lying. Look, throw those lies in there.
There's no doubting that Pep Guardiola elevated De Bruyne's game to what he is. And then Gundogan, let's be honest, he wasn't world class either. He was a good player at Dortmund, but he wasn't world class. Grealish.
To add wait, let him cook. Let
Ricardo. Let Ricardo cook. Stop interrupting him.
Grealish wasn't even world class. He was a good dribbler in the Premier League, playing for a mid-table team in Aston Villa. Like, this team is literally built in the image of Pep Guardiola. Phil Foden came from the academy. Who else do we have? Riyad Mahrez, a good winger that won a miracle Premier League title from Leicester City. Okay, like these weren't surefire players that compared to what he had at Bayern Munich in Barcelona. Like, we need to stop. Like,
but the problem, Ricardo, is that he inherited. So all of what you're saying is recent. The fact is, he still inherited a core of players. He inherited Yaya Toure. He inherited David Silva, arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. He inherited Aguero, arguably one of the best forwards of the time.
Yes.
He inherited a core of players.
Yes, and they're not here anymore, and he's doing better.
This is not like you're saying like he somehow built this team into. He inherited a arguably world-class core players with the combination of good financial backing to, I have no doubt United City have the best squad in the league. That's why they're winning. Because compared to any other squad in the league, City can say, oh yeah, Bernardo Silva gets them because they can bring in Mahrez. No other team in the Premier League, not Spurs, not even Liverpool, because even when he was going against Liverpool at best could rival and have a somewhat equal starting 11. But the squad,
no, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But my counter argument with that is that
agree on what?
No, my only counter argument is that now with the amount of money the Premier League is having, this argument that the amount of money City spent is not even an argument anymore. Yeah. So I should see in 5 years from now somebody able to match Pep Guardiola. In my honest opinion, I do not see it happening because none of these managers have what Pep Guardiola.
Ricardo, no, this is the thing is.
Wait, hold on. Let me quickly take some debates and then Vader, because Vader has been itching to speak. So let me get this. So whimsical thought, man. Thank you for debating this game. Whimsical thought. What makes Ferguson truly great is not his tactical innovation or his statistical record. It is simply that he redefined winning into its most basic form and was bloody good at it. He always had that me against the world mentality. No, look, I think like everybody has his strengths. Fergie wasn't about style and the way of playing and so forth. It was about win. As I said, in the most basic form, because I remember like watching United from the 90s and so forth, it was about playing full economic, effective football. Hence why I told you, guys, Nicky Botts, Kanchelskis, Poborski, Neville, these guys are scrubs. I don't say it. Neville, Poborski, Kanchelskis, these guys are street urchins. And bro, I've never rated backs. So how he was able to win trophies with guys who, for me, in my view, were useless.
One of Ferguson's greatest achievements, and this is why all the players shout out all those players. That's great, Ricardo. But you know what? You know what trumps all of the players that you said? The fact that Phil Jones has a Premier League medal. You're winning a Premier League. Like, there's no way in hell.
Please.
No, Bater. You can't convince me that Pep Guardiola wins with Phil Jones as a centre back in that City side. Try and convince me. Are you going to convince me?
But then
Ferguson doesn't make players.
Wait, hold on. Let me read the doors because I've got to come to Vader. So Adams, Pep is like Steph Curry, greatest shooter ever, changed the game, and Pep is the greatest tactician ever. He's sort of changed the game as well. But Fergie is like my boy Bron, longevity, evolution, and adaptation. Yeah, Bron is my goat. Look, let me not get it to be because I'm not a Steph Curry fan because Steph Curry is way overrated. No, for me, look, see. Here's the thing. Did Pep really change the game?
Yes.
No, not really. No. I think Pep has had a profound impact on the game, but he hasn't, because my thing though is that the thing about football is there isn't one way to win. And the fact that it has taken him 7 years to win a UCL with City is proof that this way of going isn't the be-all and end-all. So, because again, you're not going to change who Simeone is. You're not going to change who Ancelotti is. You're not going to change who Nagelsmann is. And guys who are even coming through and so forth aren't copying what Pep is doing. So we'll never live in a world where there's only one football strategy that everyone uses. No.
That's not true, AJ.
That is true. I was fair. Wasn't Barca in CL semis in 08 before Pep? Yeah. I think they lost to United. I think that was when Scholes scored that crazy goal. Yeah.
What was the manager?
Wait, hold on. Alec, RDS is the most knowledgeable on the panel. Oh, Ricardo, I think that's shade.
Well, I mean, he's as old as you. So
that's shade. Oh, shush. Sir Alex Ferguson, during his time at Man U, had rebuilt the club from the ground up. Man U had a huge drinking culture and lacked the structure from academy and scouting. Class of '92 was a result of him building the club. No, Ricardo, you can't.
Manchester City built their whole club just for Pep Guardiola to ride. That's the level that Pep Guardiola was sitting at.
I do want to add that culturally at the time he's right, because at the time, back in the day, in the 90s, managers were more. Now, you can get your director of football from different places, and as Ricardo said, prepare a team. Back then, the manager actually was the football club. Your manager had to direct all these different. You couldn't just hire somebody and be like, that person's in charge of scouting, that person in charge of such. So when we say Ferguson literally rebuilt Manchester United, he literally did do that.
Actually, hold on. So real quick again, because my brain is a bit hazy. So The Euros was in the 2008 Euros. It's in the summer.
Yeah.
Did Iniesta and Xavi win the Euros in 08 before
Yes,
Pep
they did,
became
yeah.
manager? Okay, all right. I just wanted to be sure. Matsgi, where's City's academy all year? Foden and Rico benched. Yeah, well, he's not using again.
Squad.
Pep is
Hasn't Foden been injured though?
yeah, but Pep isn't going to use academy players to do anything. He needs to buy his guys.
Because Man City's academy doesn't
Foden-
produce the level that Barcelona did.
Foden was
Hamza,
influential and only didn't play that much because of
we will come to you. So to play football, Pep Guardiola wants his teams to play. And the players do have to be of a certain caliber and mold. Hence why and mold, where other styles can get guys and get them just to do a job. No, see. Here's my
hard to
thing.
do what he did.
I take nothing away from Pep having to have specific players to employ because at the end of the day, it's about winning. And remember, in the club game, the
Literally
name of the
saying
game
Messi
is
that.
buying and selling. So there is nothing wrong with Pep saying, no, I have to have my specific players because every time I have my specific players, I ain't doing nothing. Hence why Pepin's winning one game with Scunthorpe. So I keep saying that as a log, but yeah, Pep ain't doing nothing with freaking Scunthorpe. So, Vater, the floor is yours.
So many freaking points. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to bring them back up. But one thing that was mentioned with regards to you tried to throw a slight at Pep because of how the state that he left Barcelona in and the fact that they were able to continue to win. But with regards to Manchester United, it wasn't the same case. This is the same Sir Alex Ferguson that said Phil Jones is probably going to be one of the greatest Manchester United players ever. So he left the state with a delusional set or mind already.
He had
with regards to
Alzheimer's.
how
He had
the club
Alzheimer's.
would be set up to continue on forward. He also choice, right? He picked the man to fill his shoes. So did he do a little sabotage? Did he not want someone to carry on the legacy?
Speak on
We'll
it.
have to see on it. But that's what Sir Alex Ferguson did, setting up his club that he loves moving forward. Another thing, when we want to talk about the players themselves, right? Oh, doing more with less. You guys rate Ake? Did you guys rate Akanji? Did you guys rate Fabian Delph? All things that he had to makeshift to make it work for his system. You guys want to point out who he buys and who he sells. Was Roy Keane not purchased from a competitor in the league? Was Cole not purchased from a competitor in the league? Dwight York purchased from a competitor in the league. Pep is putting his, no.
Let him cook. Let him
I
cook.
waited a
Let
long
him
time.
cook.
I waited a long time.
Let him
Pep
cook.
actually put players in the hands of his competitors and is still crushing this league. Were
I
you
didn't even
weak in
think
your
of that.
competition? Were you weak in your competition to strengthen yourself year after year? Cantona, Roy Keane. And I listed the other ones. That pattern continued on where he would weaken his opponents and continue on. Now I'm gonna say this with regards to Pep, because you guys are wilding out. He's had the ability to form the team the way he wants. But Ricardo did an excellent job of saying he didn't poach from other teams within the league. He also didn't go out to other established teams and get the best. He got players that you would see talent, yes, but they weren't world beaters. They were also weren't the key players to the competitors. So recognize the difference. And you want to point out different ages. Back then, they changed the whole culture. No more drinking or whatever kind of nonsense he did. You know who took it to another level of what Fergie did was Wenger. Wenger brought in the nutrition and actually fitness with regards to the game.
Vader.
Pep has taken it to another level as well.
Vader, don't
Yes.
forget Van Persie. Don't forget Van Persie.
That was the last one and I was going to hold that for last because my man RDS wanted to say, oh, and when City won theirs, what did Sir Alex Ferguson do before his last hurrah? What did he do? He went to Wenger. He went to Arsenal and took Van Persie to get that last, I'm going out on top. So, done me with all of this. Pep had it way easier than Sir Alex Ferguson because Sir Alex Ferguson was the boss for a reason because he moved like a mafia and controlled things. Not only did he control the league, he controlled refs. So let's stop all this.
Oh, wow.
Allegations.
Wow, is what we're doing?
Hey,
Wait,
that's
this is what we're
allegation.
doing?
Allegedly. That's not true.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, you got cases on you too, so don't forget that.
Alleged cases.
Hey.
Look. So something like, yes, anything you wanna. Because look, see, my thing though is, let Pep do this treble. And then I think we'll then see where everything stands and so forth. Because I think, look, especially when we have social media, recency bias is a very big thing. Hence why, like, it's good to have guys of a certain age who remember what Fergie was about and what Fergie was doing. And also, as well, it's very hard to compare eras and so forth because the way the Premier League was in the 90s is very different to how the Premier League is in 2000. It's like there are advantages and there are disadvantages.
There's also more pressure because of social media.
But here's the thing, though. One thing I'll say.
Sorry, Yasir, one thing, because I do have to drop. I was supposed to go a long time ago.
No worries, bro. Go ahead.
But let me say this, because Ricardo brought up some amazing history. We're all silent to it. Imagine this day and age, and I'm not even saying Prem. Let's not even call it the Prem, but this day and age of football, going 6 years with the results that Sir Alex Ferguson had. Imagine those 6 years for any manager today. Do they get that 7th year? That's all I'm going to say. I got to drop.
So no,
okay, yes, go for it, yes, because that's interesting. Because, but again, I think the thing about this is that, again, it's my favorite word again, context, because back in the 80s or 90s and so forth, you were given more time, and also if you're a club who've not won in 20 or something years, you're in no position to be demanding of the guy that you have to solve. And also, the whole culture of football and what it was people were just a lot more loyal to people.
Managers, like even I'm sure Ricardo agrees. So back in the terms, like the whole player power thing is only recent. Like managers up until probably maybe the early 2000s, the manager was the don. They were the ones in control. It wasn't like you were like sacking. Yeah, managers got sacked. You weren't sacking managers anyhow. If anything, you're going to get rid of players because for their attitudes or unprofessionalism and what have you. But then, probably from the mid-2000s onwards, especially with the rise of the Premier League and football and intense and stuff like that, suddenly the glamour of footballers and the lifestyle thing through, players got more powerful and player power going. So he's right. Like, if Ferguson had that record, of course he's going to go. But that's because players are, the power is of the players. So so in fairness, like give us to Pep Guardiola, you have to be able to be a certain type of manager to be able to command the level of respect of your players, because we know with Chelsea that they throw every manager under the bus every 12, 15 months.
So Ricardo, let me ask you this though.
Yep.
Do you put any value in a manager succeeding with average players?
Of course, I just said it. I said it when we're talking about Mourinho.
Oh, yes, okay, so how much value do you place in a manager succeeding with average? Okay, this is a perfect way. Do you give the same praise to a manager succeeding with amazing players as you do with a manager succeeding with average players? So a manager winning a trophy with average players, a manager winning a trophy with excellent players, is it a win is a win, or you place more value on the manager succeeding with average players?
It's like it always goes back to the Kevin Durant, whereas like do all championships weigh the same? Right?
No, they do not. Those Warriors rings are the way like feathers. They don't mean nothing to me.
Okay, so look, I think when it comes to regarding the question you asked, right? When you win with less, yes, there's more value to it, right?
Giannis,
yeah,
with the box, yeah.
So, but the problem is that we're overlooking some parameters, right? If you are given the best, like Pep Guardiola, right? Let's just say given the best, okay? You are expected to win. There's more pressure. You have to win. When you inherit a side like Roma, nobody's putting pressure on you. The fact that you even get to a final alone is seen as an accomplishment, right? Now, I think the best measure would be if they have done like maybe both parts in a sense, because that's like the ultimate measure. And maybe Pep Guardiola isn't at the stage of his career to do that yet. Maybe, who knows? Maybe down the line he does that. I don't know yet. But the reason why I say that's more important is because there are a lot of managers, and right now what we're seeing is Pep Guardiola. He can only do it with the top players, the richest teams, whatever, right? With some teams he has inherited, and he can't do it with lower quality sides. But there's also managers, quote unquote Unai Emery, who's good with lower to mid-table size teams, but the moment he steps into the big dogs, he crumbles. So I mean, it kind of goes both ways in my opinion.
Well, let me quickly hit this and then we'll be at it. So what's it called? Alec, thank you for the dub. HH is only defending Pep spending because he supports Chelsea.
Actually,
No.
good question. If Pep Guardiola managed this Chelsea side with a 600 mil, does he get win you guys the treble?
I'm looking dynasty.
No, look, come on, like if Pep was given 600, of course he's
No.
winning
I'm
trophies.
saying with the squad that you guys built under Todd Bowley. If Pep
No.
was under Todd Bowley, does he-
No. If he has to have those players and so forth, no.
But
You're not doing
I think he
anything
makes
with
top four.
Sterling.
I think he makes top 4 easily.
Wait, hold on. David, see, Ake, Akanji, and all your flops were CL players, as we're still learning the effects of puberty. He also made the world forget the Clay's success. Oh wow.
That's a point. No, but HH, but here's the thing.
Yeah, that's a dog, man.
Let me
That's
ask
a
you guys
dog.
a question. Who is Pep Guardiola during Man City's time? Who is his best fullback, or who is it? Probably Kyle Walker, right?
Yeah.
But then we talk about Kyle Walker as not being amazing going forward. One player we all thought was amazing was Cancelo. The guy shipped him to Bayern Munich. The other one, there's one guy that is in jail, Benjamin Mendy. So
He's not-
if you
he's
look
not
at
in
it,
jail.
He's not in jail, actually. He's not in jail.
oh,
so-
okay, allegedly. Okay, I don't know. Whatever.
No. What do you mean allegedly? He's not in jail. He's not allegedly. He's all right. You know what? Okay. All right.
We need to change the bylaws of the half community. We cannot allow bricks to be fall during only hangouts. Only hangouts where bricks are allowed, because that's uncalled for. I should not be getting a brick right now.
You were wrong though. That's the thing.
Nah. At this point, I'm stat petting.
Like they're not allegations. Either you're in jail or you're not. Like, you can't be like allegedly. It's like
At this point, I'm stat petting bricks. What is this?
yeah. Look, I mean, no. Come on. Like,
Has there been a better manager at pointing out talent ID and making players exponentially better?
than who?
Pep Guardiola. Because his resume says insanity.
But it's crazy. Like he built a different team. This is crazy.
No. But Ricardo, all I'll say though is that 7 years to win your first UCL is crazy.
No, I
7 years
agree.
and 5 billion is
Let me say
crazy.
something about that.
Okay, look.
Let me say
If you want me to be I will try to be as objective as possible. But like, I do have criticisms of Pep Guardiola's career. I genuinely do. You're right.
Look, everybody has criticisms,
No, I know,
and
but-
Pep Guardiola's criticisms are not as much as other guys. So 100%. So
No, I think there's some glaring ones though. Like, I think the fact that he didn't win the Champions League with Bayern Munich, especially the year they lost to Atletico Madrid. Like, I can understand losing to MSN Barcelona. I can understand losing to that Real Madrid side, but
losing to Atletico, yeah, unacceptable. And that was in his third year.
no, for sure. And like, even with this Man City side, the one thing I would say, it shouldn't have taken you 7 years to. I mean, assuming he wins the final, it shouldn't 7 years to get to this point.
Especially the man of, like, again, this is not shading like that, but when you see, like, we waited 7 years for the performance where, yeah, absolutely, City were the better team of origin, demolished them. But when you look at the teams that City got knocked out of in the Championship, they shouldn't have been knocked out by Spurs.
And in many of those years, but see, let's be real. The best team in the world in that 98 points season was City. Now, 100 points, I can't remember. Wait, 100 points, was that Tottenham? Or was that, no, I think that was Liverpool. It was Liverpool.
Liverpool.
So-
It's fair enough.
Okay, because we're good, but 98 points season, there was no
He lost
excuse.
to Monaco, he lost to
It's the
Lyon,
issue,
he
though.
lost to Tottenham.
Yeah, Spurs.
When-
Yeah.
Spurs
players
and Lyon,
are- yeah.
there's no excuses for that. Not with the team.
No, that's fair enough. But the way that Pep Guardiola wants his team to play is very hard to win in knockout rounds. It is the knockout competition. We've seen that pragmatism takes you far. It really does. We saw what Tuchel's Chelsea, the one that won the Champions League. They were
Okay,
very
yeah.
pragmatic. Let's be real. So when we talk about sometimes when you play the way Pep Guardiola wants to play, you're going to concede goals. That's just a fact. You're going to
Wait, hold on. Let's run down. So Napoli fan, fine speeches. Has Pep done dud yet? No. End of.
That's true.
No. See, look, as I say, as Roberto just said, nobody is perfect yet. We'll never see a scenario of Pep building a team for, like, especially now where he's achieved so much, he's been so successful. I don't think there'll ever be a scenario where Pep will be like, well, let me now take a bunch of scrubs and average guys and I build them up, because you're so successful. There's no point in you stooping down. So we'll never have that kind of dud element. Basically, dud for him would have been the quadruple.
How did he lose that final against Chelsea, though? That's the one
That's
thing
beyond me.
in my
That's
mind.
beyond me. That has to be the worst team to ever win. Werner, Havertz, and Mount? What?
David C. The fact that he retired in 2013 and we are only talking about a treble now in 2023 in the EPL should say something, obviously in reference to your boy Fergie. Look, see, no matter what happens, Fergie is one of the greatest managers of all time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like these are facts, and it's about everyone else who can pretty much compete. So, but all I'm saying that if Pep does win this treble, people are going to push that agenda. They're going to do it. Junior has this thoughts on KDB telling Pep to shut up. Did you see this?
When did that happen?
Yeah, I didn't see the video.
Yeah,
but
it's basically, I think it's basically like I think KDB has the ball. I think it's on the counter and he's running with it and he loses it. And then KDB turns around and just says like "shut up" to Pep because Pep said pass, and KDB just goes "shut up."
KDB looks like somebody who suffers from like debilitating anxiety during a game.
Yeah. No, and he's always sweating and he's always red, man. For some reason, he's always red. Guys, look, man, it's been good. So look. We'll be back here on Saturday for the Saturday Hangouts and the Sunday Hangouts. And look, man, so it's Sunday, isn't it? Sunday could be the procession for Man City, unless Nottingham Forest beats Arsenal on Saturday. So we'll see about that. So guys, I'll see you guys for the Saturday Hangouts. Peace out, stay true. And remember, as I always say, if not for Kevin De Bruyne, Hazard would be a World Cup winner. Peace.